Y todavía no hemos seguido preguntar. Lo pregunté al principio, sí.
También.
Entonces le pregunté aquí, tranquilidad,
La fe, ¿no?
y Carlos me dijo, sí, me dice, con eso. Ahorita pregunté y Alexei me dijo que primero que en el genérico siempre me pasa a la persona no legal, y que te pueda decir. Pero yo mi pregunta es,
en enero es
¿por
práctica.
qué ese listing que dice que ahora
I'm not sure. I want to go. I don't know where we're going to go.
This will be the first time we get them to bump into the following year.
That's what I'm thinking about doing.
yo vendo esa marca, yo la vendo, ya vendo productos.
Why are you
de
not
esa
going?
marca. Porque yo no puedo entrar a ese listing.
I'm still executing on things from the previous year. And if I learn anything, which I'm sure I will, I just don't have the bandwidth. So if I was looking for something like last time I was, that's the first time I've done that. Then, yeah, and the other part, I would still come really close to going to go. He's like the week before on my other.
Exacto.
I got a lot of stuff that I gotta do anyway. I'm gonna walk them through, but you're on the other. Yeah, so it's like,
That's what I was thinking too.
it's really close.
Sí, sí, yo lo que quiera.
No,
te digo que ya han perdido la parte de cierto tiempo y no le dejan. Tú estás diciendo el error que sale como
Cuando voy a hacer el sí, cuando lo voy a agregar.
si tú quieres hacerlo, puedes, pero tienes que tener un acta aprobado.
Oye, sí, yo quiero ir.
El sí que tengo la fotito no me dice
También sería ir
que. Ajá.
a China. Ellos no quieren que hagan más. Me gustaría ir
Yo entraría en un
¿Quieres tu ejemplo haciendo ahorita? ¿Así? Y ya cuenta si se va.
No sé si estoy pensando en
Pero que, claro, tú ya has alcanzado. Porque lo que yo le dije a mi papá era que no sabía si deberíamos ir solos así como por primera vez. Ahora no es. ¿Crees que podamos ir todos en una organización 100% por accidente lo que no sabía y no ocurre que también son de más? No, nada. Hay una visa para
sí, me parece que tengo la visa mía por 10 años.
Sí, para.
Entonces eso cambió.
No creo que está muy complicado. You need a visa to go to China?
Yes. I don't think you need a visa for Hong Kong. Oh, no, you can fly straight to Hong Kong and get a visa, and I know some people that say you don't need a visa.
My laptop, claro.
Okay.
The workshop tomorrow will be a lot.
Oh, that's why they were like, well, we're gonna.
Well, we just tried this, new Fernando did it, it seems like it's a win.
La mayoría de los veces son branch engineers.
Ahora te voy a hacer una pregunta. Yo últimamente estoy conociendo muchas personas por el departamento que tienen marcas privadas
Oye, acabando
y
el.
que no saben nada de
Doing
arte.
pretty good.
Y que
Oh, you
le
saw it?
gustan mi manera de ser
Yeah.
y saben que yo
I
no
went to Trevor
sé
Regan.
porque
Get
no
up.
tengo
Never gonna
marca
happen.
privada, ¿qué pago? ¿Qué tengo que
Yeah,
hacer?
Never gonna happen.
O porque no sé nada de marca privada.
No, no,
Yo uso marca privada, pero yo no invento nada.
Yeah, at this point I think it
¿Cuál
was
es la mejor manera
like all of
de
success.
No, I had the same
yo
problem.
trabajar
So,
con
so
ellos?
you have to like
No perder ese trabajo.
get those sales
Y
there,
de
but
tercerizarse en
man,
alguien,
you're gonna
pero
get rid of it.
que esa persona
You got way too many
confía,
sales.
no sé si
Concentrate.
confía de que
At the
yo no
same
te
time.
diga,
Which-
Yeah.
But I did.
Mira, tú
So I'm not
estás
saying,
estudiando, te
you
pregunto,
know, not saying
soy el
it's the
puente,
same problem.
trabaja en uno, pero que esa persona que quede ahí, mañana,
Carlos, what email should I send you? Carlos said
Exacto.
we were writing descriptions. If you have a link to it, you can link to it in WhatsApp.
It's already.
Otherwise, Carlos at Bluebird Marketing.
Yeah, I mean, I have to, I need to buy the product itself, and then I have to buy the packaging, and separately to get them all like go back to everything back in. And the product is only so
Pero what do you think? Isn't it like? Is it a liquid? Is it a liquid?
no, it will be a powder. So yeah, man, it's good. So I'm excited. How are you?
Ella quiere que no, yo quiero, a mí me gustaría encaminarlo al otro, pero yo no quiero trabajar su tienda, no, o sea, ella no quiere hacer nada. Ella está entrando a Costco, ella está entrando a Costco, ella tiene un producto que hace un producto diferente. Te lo vi, que yo lo vi y le dije, pero ella me dijo, mira, yo no tengo tiempo, yo no tengo, no lo quiero hacer, no tengo tiempo,
I can just leave it set it on WhatsApp, you don't have to.
porque tú no me vendes a mí.
Because you need the cash.
Yo digo, no, yo quiero mi marca y yo quiero, pero yo tengo la cuenta de abierta, pero para entrar a la marca no sé qué, se no sabe nada.
I need to be able to decide stop.
¿Qué hago? Yo digo, porque si me han
So,
presentado,
except for one brand, I'm about to say. The big brand that I had, that was doing $3 million revenue per year, kicked me out. And then I only have one left, and that's when it's just time by itself. I could go back and do more. Create another brand. I really just want to do more in the I think it's what I want to do, and another thing is
No puede ser 100% y no va a ser 100%.
I'm not on the street, I'm not in Cairo.
You know what I hope is they're doing?
Para que tú salgas a decir tuyo,
It's figure out how you can, who you can partner
te va a hacer el
with.
trabajo, one y one, te va a dar más bien, te va a poner otro proveedor.
te imaginas que no sabe nada de PPC, yo creo que
Yeah, that's what
es
it's
que
from.
imagínate, tienen que
Like, get some type of
productos para ver si significa una inversión de PPC,
What about food? We collaborate, development of this
seguro
box,
que
help.
la gente
And
no
then
sabe.
Ever since
You should see on your end.
Ever since Dr. was last brought me,
Entonces, porque
someone, because it's not
ella
possible
dice,
they
sí,
use the
tú
first
seguimos
product
freelance, yo
that's
te
much
pago,
more.
y de pronto me por apuro,
Sí, ¿qué es lo que
Everything else that I did before was like, okay, you know, sitting as a product of Deluxe, okay, this, send me this product, and then like, this is the first one that was like, okay, you know what, let's put this together. The next one is gonna be more. So, from that point, launch this out to the next time, getting people to hiring, related, hiring, running a few minutes, so I get officially started one thing. Now, that means that still.
I need every Saturday.
I told myself I'm gonna go for
Yeah.
Those are down, by the way. That's oh, the water, yeah. I'm saying that.
o sea que yo puedo escanear y ver toda la información y todo lo que
But how is the last one?
That's great.
Strategy growth.
Test, test.
Oh, man. Oh, he's the one. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Pleasure. Yeah, pleasure. Nice to meet you. Yes, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, there you go. He told me, yeah, someone from that cult part of
The
that.
cult, someone from that cult.
Good, man, how are you? Is the first one?
All right, so we got audio. Good to go.
You still subbing or you're subbing?
I'm still excited.
saw it.
So, what category?
Have pictures from like, how many years ago?
Like last week? Okay. Let's get started.
No, claro, claro.
Poster out there.
Yep. Got a company here in Miami. We do prototyping and product design development. We also have a couple of Amazon stores. Let a lot of people yeah, I create physical products, all kinds of trade terms under MSLA.
What's the connection with Fiverr?
I started out with Fiverr.
Oh, cool.
Just right into it.
Let me get started. I gotta get that. This is gonna work for you, right? Show you guys. Yeah. Here, I'll put it up there. But you'll be where I'm gonna go right now. That's where you'll be, and we'll hook up the TV. You can do either one. Whatever, you can do both. We're gonna swap this mic, and some questions will come from the stream. I'll be here or over there asking you those questions. People will be throwing those cubes around asking questions too. You can have questions wait until the end, or you can have throughout. It's totally up to you. You guys ready? Let's get started. I'll start sitting. Hold on, gotta check. All right. Thank you guys for coming out. We got a lot more people on the way, but we're gonna start with our beginner hour. Now, temperature good with everybody? I love it, but that's usually an indication that it's cold, right? Good. Good, all right. Today's topic of the week, starting at 2 p.m. Good news is the speaker is here. Is Kerry Egeler in the back, and it's going to be about using Facebook and Instagram to sell physical products. So ads to sell physical products, right in the paid ad side, yeah? Kerry walked all the way here from Oklahoma. Yeah. Yep. 22 weeks, yeah. So no, just got in from Oklahoma, so we're making the full use of his time here in Miami. So today we have the presentation he's going to give now. Are you able to stick around afterwards for a little networking, or do you have, okay. At 3:30 when we wrap up, we hang out here for a bit and do some networking. Everyone can kind of get to know each other, introduce each other. And you got a cross or no? No? Staying close to the source? And then tomorrow, we have all of our meetup groups are free. We have a paid workshop tomorrow. If you're a member of the Wizards of Ecom Academy that we have, you get free access to that. We have 2 or 3 more slots open for that. I'm sure by the end of today we won't, but we'll be having a full day workshop about what I think Kerry's superpower is, and what attracted me to having him on the podcast is print on demand, right? He's scaled some pretty massive stuff on the print on demand. He's one of the founder or co-founder of Shirt School. Founder of Shirt School. Some people in the group, Tom included, are part of it, and we met at Kajabi Hero Live. So I'm really looking forward to both today and tomorrow. For those of you, I know some of you have already signed up for the workshop. It's going to be pretty awesome. Lunch is included tomorrow, by the way, except for you, Ramon, because you have a huge appetite. We're going to do Mexican again. Like, that's been a hit so far. We'll walk down there, and on the way back, just as custom is, we'll get to hear Tom talk about how he smells now like a Mexican, food, and all this other stuff. We'll get to
So racist.
The thing is, the pause between Mexican and the food made it sound bad, but at the same time, I was having the tooth issue. It smells like Mexican food, because you are in there and they're cooking all around you. So no, that was a bad pause. Smell like a Mexican. No, that's not what I meant to say. But it was good seeing you blush.
You blushed.
I did a little bit. That got me. Anyone that doesn't know me is probably like, oh my God. Anyhow, for those who do know me, and I'm talking weird, I just had a pretty serious dental procedure, so I'm trying to like compensate on that side. So I might not be on my A game today.
Well, you're very good at compensating.
All right, sponsors really quick. Let's get sponsors out of the way. We have some new people here. This group started. We're working on our 9th year. so about eight and a half years at this point that we've been around. We're the largest Amazon seller meetup group in the world. We have locations in Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Diego. It's a free meetup group. This is how it started. And we have in total across all of those 16 to 20 events per month. Our Miami events on Saturdays are in person. And for those of you that feel like making the Tampa trip, because it totally is worth it, we have our end of year Tampa party next Wednesday for our group in Tampa. And then we'll have something here in 2 weeks, which is, we only have 2 more meetups left in the year, and then we don't come back until the 6th. But to make all this happen, my wife wouldn't let me keep coming out of pocket for all this as much as I would, and I love doing it. So we needed to partner up with some sponsors to keep the group free, and we have a bunch. So some big flagship sponsors that really do a lot to support the group: Gatita, Sellers Fi, Carbon 6, Enzo Brands, Avask, Honu Worldwide, On-Site Support, Assureful, and Traceview. So like some of the banners are already up. You'll see Enzo Brands, Carbon 6, Gatita, and Avask. Trying to get it so more and more people create their banners and bring them in. They have some QR codes so you can learn more about them, but you know, the banners that are there right now, if you want to expand internationally, you want to work with Avask. You know, if there's any reimbursements or refunds that you need, because Amazon constantly owes you money, highly recommend Gatita for that. Enzo Brands is like a one-stop shop for a whole bunch of services, which they itemize there, from inventory, PPC, recovery, bookkeeping, images, lots of stuff. And Carbon 6 is another pretty powerful suite. The tool I like the most that they have is one called Pixel Me, which allows you to do some really cool Google ads to Amazon advertising, which you need to be really clear on what your goals are before you use them, and be clear on what success is. It's not something like Amazon where you should compare them as far as like what's an acceptable ACOS or tacos. But if none of those terms make sense, no worries, because we're going to get into our beginner hour now. But other sponsors we have, Connected Commerce Council, one that we're going to be hearing a lot more through the beginning of the year, and they're helping get the word out because there's a lot of antitrust stuff going on in regards to Amazon, so that we can clarify stuff for, I guess, the world, so they don't get broke up. E-commerce, Chris, Smart Scout, Rivly, PickFu, and Remote Corp. So we have a lot of sponsors, and super grateful for them. If you're working with one of their competitors, that's fine. You don't have to like switch. It's not like that. But if you do see them at a conference, it's good to just go up there and say hi and just like, I guess, thank them for this. So that we're able to have this because they're making that happen. Some events that we have in the group that you should be aware of. We have our annual event, Online Seller Cruise, which that is running out of cabins, and that's a Carnival cruise line thing. If it was up to me, everyone could go. But when they run out of cabins, you just cannot participate in the event. But that Online Seller Cruise is January 21st to the 28th. I've not raised the event tickets the entire year. I don't plan on doing that. I just want you to go. Tickets are $300 to be able to go, and then you get your secure your cabin and all that jazz with Carnival. But they do still have some cabins. That's a really amazing event. There's a few people here that have gone. We have a lot of speakers. We do the speakers and the workshops on the days that we're at sea, so it's not interfering with like everything else you want to do on the cruise and your excursions and whatnot. But really good event. The other event that we have twice a year, and we've not done since COVID, is our China product sourcing trip, which is usually every April and October. We go as a group to China, primarily the Canton Fair, but also like Hong Kong Mega, Cross Border Summit, all this other stuff. That is led by Gabe, you see over there in the corner. He's been selling online since before the internet. He loves it. Led by Gabe, and since we haven't done it since COVID for obvious reasons, the goal is to have it back up and running in April of next year. So everyone just returned from the October trip, and for most people that was their first time going back. We just wanted to play a little on the safer side because we didn't like some of the stuff we were hearing about the entry and exit for people going in there. Yeah. Final one is trade shows. So we have a Telegram chat now, which I'll get into the Telegram group in a bit, but we have trade shows where some of the biggest gains that a lot of people in the group have gotten is when they hear that one of us is going to a trade show or conference somewhere in the world, usually in the United States, that we're bringing back all these new learnings and new contacts from them. The experience of going to one of those shows by yourself versus going with a big mob of people that you know is a totally different experience. You get a lot of access to things that you wouldn't get by yourself When you go as a group, we don't charge anything to travel together. We just have a group chat dedicated where we can coordinate and like say, hey, this is when we're flying in, where are you staying, all that jazz, so that we can, you know, just have a much better experience and really just like share what we learned. One of the really good ones we did for the first time was last year for a show called Traffic and Conversion. I think Stefano just showed off a lot in that one, but we were all like writing notes of what our takeaways were from speakers that we saw on different tracks, and people were able to learn a lot of cool stuff that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to because they were on an unrelated track listening to something. So that's done really good. Our first test of the group was at PLMA, Private Label Manufacturers Association, which we go to every year in Chicago, warm Chicago in November. And that was great. So I feel like the Telegram chat really proved itself there. Like we were able to coordinate a lot. Tom put together some co-packer people, and we were able to go see them. So that expect more of that. Speaking of the Telegram chat, if you go to wizardsofcom.com/chat, you'll see all of our different chats that we have. It's free to join, but we have chat rooms based on the selling model that you might be interested in. We do not have a selling model for print on demand. Maybe that changes after this weekend, but we got pretty much every other seller model that you could think of in the Amazon space, from arbitrage, influencer program, private label, wholesale, you name it. We have a chat room for it. Some are more active than others. I mean, like, for example, we have a drop shipping one, which I don't think anyone's commented in like a year, and we have a book one that's a lot more like a selling used book one that's a lot more active than I thought it was going to be honest. But you know, depending what you're into, there's a chat room for it. And if you're just like gung-ho about it and you feel like leading the charge, just reach out to me and we'll create a room for it in the network. Yeah, we have a YouTube one, we have a course creator one. So like whatever you're into, like the idea is like there's other people that are probably into the same thing and they're going to want to talk about it as well. The beginner hour that we're going to get into right now, this has been the layout of what we've had for years in the group, and it's going to be more of like an AMA. So any questions you have, this is the idea. This is the time to be able to ask that. If nobody has beginner questions, then obviously we'll open the floor to any questions that are here, but I'm going to spend more time and prioritize beginner questions during this 1 hour up until 2 p.m. And then we'll take a 5-minute break. I'll get Kerry set up so that he can do his presentation. We'll go from there. And since we do have some new people, if you see me looking straight here, we have a camera that's live streaming. It's only catching here. You're not on it. But if somebody asks a question, who's watching the live stream, by the way? Anybody?
I am, and maybe.
Okay. If one of them asks me a question from the stream and I look this way, it's not me checking myself out in the mirror. It's more just asking and trying to make eye contact in an odd way with somebody that's on a stream. That was a lot. Okay. So the beginner hour, the layout we have, you can cut across. Feel free to. It is going to be like that. Starting in January, it's going to change a lot. So starting in January, the beginner hour is going to change to, instead of an hour of open questions, sometimes there's enough questions to fill it rapidly. Sometimes it looks, I make a joke and we're going to do awkward breathing exercises or something, because it's like pulling teeth, like who has a question. So to help with that, and also to really, like in the beginner hour, one of the things you should be looking at is how to find products to sell profitably. Like that's regardless of the model. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend the bulk of that time. I'll have my computer hooked up, and we're going to do things from whether it's using product research tools, which I'm not a huge fan of to discover new products, but I know how to do it. I get that it is for a lot of people, but we'll either, some weeks we'll focus on that, using tools to find products. Other ones, I'll focus on something I discovered in Trends email newsletter, which I recommend everybody join, especially now that it's free. Sometimes I'll use Etsy. Sometimes we'll go and do a trade show, and I'll pull like the virtual exhibitors, and we'll find people that way, trade journals, but just live product sourcing for private label and wholesale. So like we'll cover those two. I don't know enough about online. I can tell you what it is, but I don't know enough about online arbitrage to do live sourcing for online arbitrage. But if somebody does, maybe one of those weeks we'll bring somebody in here who does, and they can and we can do it. But that's going to be the idea. The beginner hour is going to have a small section for those ask me anything questions, and we're going to focus predominantly on live product sourcing. Does that work for everybody? Yeah? Okay. Since we're not doing live product sourcing right now, who has any questions that are Amazon related, preferably beginner questions from the stream or in person?
Yeah, so I'm actually pretty brand new to Amazon. You know, never done e-com before. My specialty is engineering, so I've always created products for people, but decided to launch myself. And you know, the question that I have for you is, you know, if you were to build a new Amazon store, would your priority be, you know, sourcing existing products, maybe white labeling them, or would you take the approach of, hey, listen, I know this product sells really well, but this is what the customers are saying, so there are some improvements to be made, and then, you know, source out an engineer and redesign that product, compete in the market by creating your own brand, you know, that you can also sell afterwards?
There's no right or wrong answer there. My approach is the latter of what you just said. So like my approach, I wish more people were thinking the way like it seems like you're thinking in your question. So
I was just gonna say, the way you
Yeah.
phrase your question, kudos.
Yeah, so you and I are very much on the same page, I think, like the way you're asking it. Like, I think the perceived safe way of doing it is to just find a product that's already selling, find the identical version. This is the perceived safe way. You find the identical version selling on Alibaba or whatever, 1688, and then you're like, oh, I could get more reviews than this person, or oh, I'm willing to sell it for less. But I think that's a very dangerous play in reality. It's a very red ocean play. Like you turn into well, if the factory's willing to sell direct, then I can't beat them on price. So then it's like, what black hat stuff can I do to kind of get reviews? And I think that's a real crappy place to be in a business, right? Very hobbyist, very fidget spinner. You know, like, let's see what we can do. I think it's a phenomenal idea to look at what's already being searched for and then say, I think you alluded to this, it's like the negative reviews and everything that's being talked about. Oh, I wish this thing did blank, or would be better if it was blah.
Yeah.
And then know how to do that, or connect with someone that knows how to do it, then that's the way to go. You're probably in that scenario, especially with Amazon, it's if the change is an obvious one in the main image. Because if the tweak you made was like an internal component of the product, you need to really spell that out in the description, and you're not gonna be able to say it in the main image. Even if your product is like superior, you're not gonna reap the benefits on Amazon of that. So like that change you make needs to be different. So like if you have this is a real example of like these sets of these shatterproof wine glasses, right? But somebody created, I don't know if it was a wine glass or it was a whiskey glass, but like, let's say whiskey, because I think it was whiskey. And the copy, the everything was really written for the avatar of this guy that bought these whiskey glasses, right? Not that women can't, but a review popped in and it was from a woman who drinks whiskey, and it says, I love these. I just wish they were a little smaller, like I can barely wrap my hand around this thing. And the person's like, oh my God, notches on the side of this thing, his and her pair. So like the person was able to like figure out how to put the notches in the engineering, right? I guess that'd be minor, but like it's still, like for someone like me, you know, elementary school dropout who gets their GED, I'm not engineering crap, you know what I mean? I can't put notches in anything. So yes, you create that, and now you can probably sell this thing for $5 to $10 more. It scroll stops you because you're like, oh my God, I'm used to seeing the shape, and now I see these notches. And you've created really a blue ocean for your product. It's a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could go on a rabbit hole on that, but I really like that. And
The one point he's trying to make, right?
I was making a lot of points,
And the
but-
change that you're going to make towards the product.
Get the microphone.
yeah, give him the mic. Give him his big. We don't mean to make you uncomfortable. Don't even attempt to get up, Ramon. You know, like.
Oh, there's a couple.
Well, there you go.
I'll take this one back then.
So what you really want to make sure you do is whatever engineering and work you're going to work towards making your product better, it has to be demonstrable in the main image.
Yeah, of course.
If it's not, and it's something inside,
Yeah, it's not noticeable.
it's not noticeable, and more than likely it's going to involve meaning a higher price point because you're making a better product. Therefore, people are going to consider your product the same as everybody else, but you have a higher price point.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that create fantastic products. They have these ideas to make the product better, but it's on the inside. And that doesn't play very well in a marketplace such as Amazon.
Yeah,
You
on
want to
Amazon,
make sure
that's-
that the main white background image can show the improvement that you have made. Otherwise,
Yeah, of
it's
course.
not going to work.
I mean, like, you know, when I was asking this question.
Throw in one of the-
maybe- Sorry, did you want to go?
No, you're good.
Obviously it would be, like if you look over here, it says due diligence and business exits. And, like I feel like an important thing for every single one of us to do is whenever we're starting an Amazon account or an Amazon brand is to have that exit. And you're not going to be able to have that exit successfully if you're not able to differentiate your product. So, keeping in mind that whenever I'm redesigning a product, right, like I'll figure out a category, a niche, I'll get into that category like home improvement, for example, and I'll look at what's working, like what's really high selling, but some improvements can be made. And those improvements are going to be made not just on the, internal mechanisms, if any, but also on the external to kind of like match the brand, right?
Besides the Ohio State shirt, you're batting 1,000 today.
Yeah.
Besides the Ohio State shirt. Besides that shirt, you almost found a home.
I'll give you guys a disclaimer. You know what? This was actually a gift from my boss. I worked for a biomed company. And, I just wear this because I had a Zoom call with him.
That's acceptable. Besides that, you're doing great.
IO.
The fact that he knew that means there's more to that
I went
than
to
his
one
boss's
game.
shirt.
Okay.
I got a question. Once you have created a product that it's selling good, and you have done those changes, how can you protect yourself?
Well,
Because in my case, I developed mopeds for Swiffer.
mopeds?
Mopeds, yeah. They were reusable, like 5 years ago.
Talking about mop heads, or we're talking about the bike mopeds?
No, for mopping.
Mop heads,
For
yeah.
the Swiffer mop system, yeah, basically that. So, but a couple years later, there were thousands of sellers selling the same product.
Yeah.
So basically, people saw me selling them, and product is the same in China. So
there's different degrees. There's a bunch to talk about there. It's a great question. So on one end, get the easy one out of the way, and it's usually not attainable for a lot of people. You have the whole like design patent protection. You have utility patents, but that's usually beyond the scope of most people, like either their know-how or the capital or anything like that. But that is a real thing. Like you could, if your thing that you've created is that different on that mop head and it does this thing, or it twists when you call Alexa, like if you do something like that, then yes.
that was the problem, that I couldn't patent because it's not that different to patent. It's
Okay,
only
so in that case,
a different design.
you jumped into a red ocean of mop heads, and you did a minor tweak. That's what's coming. Like that just happens. That's like as soon as you pop something up on the side of the road where you're selling this like turmeric infused lemonade, and everyone sees your buckets of money, everyone's going to start doing those things. Like so it's because the thing wasn't as unique as you would have hoped. You just have to be ready for that. I mean, they have knockoff Rolexes and Louis Vuittons. So like on the opposite side of that, like people do knockoffs of stuff, right? If you do create something and you don't get a patent, or even if you do get the patent, I think you should, it is on you. You could just sit back and do your Bali lifestyle, laptop Bali lifestyle, or you could continue thinking of like, let me get all this feedback. What's the 2.0 of this gonna look like? Because I know this other stuff is coming. Other ways you can differentiate would be technologically. So I just did a YouTube video on this, and it's like getting, for example, an app. Like you're used to seeing an app. Like if you saw a baby monitor or a smartwatch, you would imagine that it comes with an app. Like that's super obvious to you, right? But there is no rule that says other products can't have an app. So like say you have, I'm trying to think of something like I think is like the most competitive thing in the world. Like imagine a blue yoga mat, right? Like that's where your profits go to die, right? Plain blue yoga mat. And if on your blue yoga mat main image, again, as Ramon liked to jump out there with his big words this morning, demonstrable in the main image, you have an app, and your app really just is the app people go to when they buy the product that allows you to do warranty, allows them to get product support, but also maybe on the splash screen it shows like free weekly, free sun salutations, right? The scroll stopper there, it's a technological differentiation. The blue yoga mat's just like everybody's blue yoga mats. But that app that's there now gets people to stop like, whoa, I'm not expecting to see an app when I see a blue yoga mat. Yeah, the thing you have to be careful though if you do the technological one is you can't bifurcate the deliverable. You can't say you buy this and I'm going to deliver you, if you buy it, you get a free course. Because Amazon's not going to allow that. You can't split the sale. You can't like hang, the complete sale needs to happen on Amazon. Yeah.
My comment to that is, you will, for a product like a mop head, for example, the answer has to be always be launching. You gotta be 2 steps ahead. You gotta understand that in a marketplace, you will have a ton of competition that's gonna come after you. You gotta be 2 steps ahead of them and say like, this is the next product, this is the next design, and this is the next thing. And I'm gonna contact the email list that I created based on that first product that is so fantastic, and I'm gonna sell them this next one, and on the next one, you build a brand around that. Otherwise, B2B as well, right? Like start building something off Amazon, because unless you have a way of protecting your product, you're just gonna get inundated with competition. People see you making cash flow, they're gonna come after your cash flow. And this is coming from experience. There was a particular, I make board games, there's a game that was made only in the United States. I made the game and I brought it to China, and I sourced it from China, significantly lower price because of that, and then all of China found out about this game, and then everybody just decided to make the same game. So you gotta think, the moment that I start making money, people are gonna come after me. Therefore, what is the next product and the next product and the next product? And also, and think about, how do I build a brand around this product? And that's how you defend yourself.
Yeah.
You can actually put the app, isn't that, I mean, like kind of getting the clients from
Cut through.
Amazon? Amazon gonna allow you to do that, like put in the app and
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
app, you get the information first. I mean, when you sign up with the app, it's gonna ask.
No,
you-
but products have that. And that's a good point. Like when you get Apple products or anything else that sells, you download an app.
Right.
Like that's allowed. Now, I'm sure you're gonna get some imbecile that's gonna go ahead and put an app there who doesn't actually have an app in the App Store, right? Or they do have an app and the only thing it has is give us your information and we'll give you a rebate if you can prove you leave a review. It's something so blatantly obvious. And then it's going to get reported. And as soon as it hits the media, Amazon hates bad press. And then something will happen. But no, like there is a lot of barriers there that usually most people won't do. And yeah, just get it in the App Store. Like get your app in the App Store. Create the app. Apps don't have to be cost prohibitive either. Like there's that service like Wizards of Ecom has an app. Online Seller Cruise has an app. Like Leaves and Soul has an app.
That's
Like
a great way to get the client information from Amazon.
yes, I'm totally like once they're in the app, you can send them push notifications. That's phenomenal. But my biggest push, I mean, that's a whole different conversation though. Like that's cool, but I want to stop their scroll on Amazon and do everything possible in that main image to get them to convert. So that's where I'm coming from when I'm talking about the app. Yeah. So, but no, like that's something that never ends. And depending on the product, you're either always be launching, or you get a patent, or you do something, different. But good question. What other questions we got? You got 30 more minutes in the beginner hour, and we'll get into the topic of the week. Any questions?
He's answered.
Oh, he's answering them on the stream? Okay. Any cool ones come up on the stream?
You guys just excited about in the new year talking about product sourcing and the beginner hour?
Oh, cool stuff. Nobody else? Welcome. Let's play around with this. Who here has not started selling on Amazon yet? Okay. Yeah, right. Since before the internet. And for those of you that have not started selling yet, the reason you don't have questions right now, is it that you don't know what questions to ask? Or, not to put you guys on the spot, you really don't have to say anything, but you are here on a beautiful Saturday in Miami.
Well, I have to ask a question. I've been stuck in picking a product for a long time. I actually had a great conversation with Tom last week.
Tom?
Yeah.
Oh.
How's it going, man? So, I think I had this question a few months ago when I came here, like finding the product, finding the way to get in the market, because I've been getting a lot of information from all over the place, and taking that step is being my biggest challenge right now.
Okay, so not knowing where to start. So just throwing some stuff out there. You've been to the group before, and you have for some people, it's more of a fear factor, but you're courageous enough or brave enough to reach out to people. So that's not stopping you. Just talking to a lot of people over the last like 8.5 years who have had similar questions or that paralysis by analysis, I think it has to do with your content diet. Bear with me on this. Like when I started selling, there was no Facebook groups and all this other stuff to get all this information, right? So you just started in a calculated way and you looked at, oh, that didn't work, and you keep going, and now here we are. But now, I mean, I'll say print on demand, because we're gonna talk about print on demand. I'm sure that's gonna like come up in creative ways in tomorrow's workshop, but if I wanted to go learn about print on demand, say I didn't know Kerry, and I just went to like YouTube and I searched for like how to get started with print on demand, within an hour, I would be in 10 Facebook groups, subscribed to 4 podcasts, might be in 2 people's funnels for a free course, and like checking with my wife if it's cool to pay X on a subscription to something, you know? So it's like, that's overwhelming. So you're getting info from so many different people and so many different sources. Like, I think it's only natural that you would just be overwhelmed and not knowing where to start. In reality, you should start. What method do you think about starting? Is it arbitrage? Is it wholesale? Is it private label? Like, which one do you want to start?
Just to dovetail on, can you tell him maybe the categories you would not go into to kind of eliminate those? Because we kind of went down that rabbit hole in that conversation, and there were some categories that I think are kind of on the taboo side.
With private label?
Correct. Supplements with local products. So are there
No.
categories that you would say stay away from, and maybe categories that maybe steer into? At least give them that kind of.
I recommend, I mean, unless you're like part of the family business and you guys have like a lab that manufactures stuff or whatever, I recommend just completely avoiding supplements. I would avoid, well, if you don't have a massive budget, I would avoid getting into coffee, like manufacturing the coffee. I'd avoid baby products in the beginning, like just especially in the beginning, especially if it's your first shot, avoid baby products. I can tell you, like, again, going off of, I've been selling full-time on Amazon for 15 years, 15 and a half years. We've had this group now pushing 9. So I get to talk to a lot of different people in a lot of different spots. And the reason I say the baby product thing, first of all, it's a very difficult category. The way people make a buying decision in that category is very different than almost every other category on Amazon. And I think there's a disadvantage sometimes if you're like too close to the fire. So like, it is an alarmingly high amount of people I know, moms, that have come to me with a private label. Either it's crashed, or products are on the way, or they're in some stage of doing this, and they have chosen a product. It's usually like something that will deal with, it's crazy, it's something that will deal with carrying the baby goods, like a diaper carrier, diaper bag, something like that. Something dealing with the apparel of the kids, something in that realm. And I think it's because for a period of time, moms do these amazing things and they're very locked in and they're like, oh my God, this is such a pain when I have to do this. And in any other time, I think that would be a good time to do it. But for that category, there's so many people doing it at the same time, it's just like you want to stay away from it. So baby, especially baby, anything that a baby consumes, supplements and like coffee itself. I would even say like even the categories, I saw you toss the mic to Ramon, like even games for certain kids, like at a certain age, like toddlers and stuff like that, like it's a very difficult category. But then again, the growth potential in all those categories that I just said, or like the potential for 9 figures, like they're massive, and that's why it attracts.
So I wouldn't single out any particular category. The way that I would do it is look at what you bring and what your goals are. Number one, how much capital do you have to start? That's the most important thing, because there are some categories that are prohibited depending on the cash flow that you have. And number two, what are you looking to achieve? Are you looking to create a brand that you want to run for the rest of your life? Are you looking to exit in 2 years? What are your goals, right? Once you have the answers to those questions, then you can start thinking about, well, what am I gonna do? Me personally, I wanna build a brand that I can grow for 10 years. And I'm not gonna get bored of doing it. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I have to wake up today and go to work on my own business that I hate because I don't like the products that I'm working on. I want to work on stuff that I want to do, so that I can get up every day in the morning and go like, I am so lucky to be working on these products, right? So maybe baby products is what you really like to do, and screw it, man, do it, right? Do it. If you have a cash flow and you really can get up every single day of the morning, every morning, and you go, I cannot wait to work on my baby products, go for that. And you're going to find success along the way if you do that. Now, if you're just looking to, how do I get to a point that this brand is making enough money so that after 2 years I can exit? Pick whatever you want and just keep that vision in mind. In 2 years, I'm out of here. I'm gonna sell this brand, I'm gonna make X amount of money, and then I'll start again if I want. So those are the answers that I think you have to come up with first before you pick the actual product. How much money you have to start? What's your vision in the short to long term? And after that, pick a brand.
Yeah, let's get back to the question I was asking you though. Like, what model? Like, we can just break this down. Like, I don't think that the reason you're not selling is lack of information.
No,
Right?
no.
Like you probably could get up here and answer people's questions, as much research as you've probably done and as much groups as you've probably done. So like, I don't think that's an issue. What model do you want to sell in?
So what my intent was always private label, right?
Okay.
So I was actually ready to launch.
Why?
It's just like you said. To me, it's more interesting to build a brand.
Right. So you're financially stable.
Yeah, I don't need the money for a while.
Right. So are you in a job? You're not trying to like get out of a job that you're miserable in.
No, I'm okay. I'm gonna be in that job for another 3 years or so, and then I'm gonna retire.
Okay.
So I don't need a single cent for the next 4
so
years.
private label sounds good.
Yeah. So and also I wanted to build something like a brand, right? And actually I do have not a brand, but I have a small following on Instagram for a vegan brand,
Sure.
right? So it started like about a year or so ago, and I was just providing information, providing tips, things like that. So I want to capitalize on that. I was kind of ready to launch supplements in about 2 months or so. I found a U.S. provider. The initial investment was not that great, but I knew that I was not providing any differential. It was just another brand in the market, and that was the conversation I had with Tom, because I was trying to understand what kind of push I could get just by PPC and Google Ads. I didn't want to go and just try it without talking to somebody to give me
If you're hell bent on supplements, like again, I really advise not doing that as your first one. Even if you told me right now that you have the capital and you were passionate about supplements, which I'm not gonna, I would say, man, that's awesome, you should do it. I don't think it should be the first one. Like, you have a lot of stuff you just need to learn on Amazon, and at the end of the day, it needs to be profitable. Like, but if you're just hell bent on supplements, I would like really niche down. Like, I have this approach where it's like, I call it stairway to PL. I have no idea why I came up with that corny thing, but like, it's main category, and you want to go 4 or 5 subcategories away from the main category. So like, one example I give a lot is bowls. And you're like, I want to sell bowls. And like, everyone has bowls, and every household has X amount of bowls, so let's sell bowls. Well, bowls is where like, bowls are like, you ain't doing anything in bowls. Like, someone searches for bowls on Amazon, they're just searching. Like, they're curious, they're browsing, like they're not buying anything. Now, if we're talking about, maybe we go into a more like ceramic bowls, right? So like, we take a step away, and then we're into like ceramic soup bowls. And then we're into like ceramic ramen noodle soup bowls. French onion soup, like we could start really, once you get into that 4th and 5th rung, or subcategory, if you will, that I feel like that is where there's much less competition. You have a lot more opportunities to be unique. And yeah, the bowls category does a lot more than the ramen noodle, ceramic ramen noodle bowl category, but you still do a 7-8 figure business out of that category. So if you're gonna do supplements, I guess what I would say is like, oh, supplements, let's say you're into like, I wanna do, well, I got Prime Water here, right? So this is like for hydration, right? So I would do, this is electrolytes. So instead of just selling instead of just selling a 60 milligram whatever of electrolytes, so like all of your PPC could be buried, I would look into this and I'd be like, liquid electrolytes for Burmese pythons. You know what I mean? Like electrolytes for poultry. You know what I mean? This is a category, and you start like, and you're like, what is this? Can somebody look that up, by the way, and just see like if that's even a thing, like electrolytes for reptiles? It really is. You're looking it up? Can somebody just look up electrolytes for reptiles? I'm not here like plugging away on my phone. I'm curious. But like, you're gonna do, okay, look up electrolytes for poultry and electrolytes for reptiles. I'm just curious what comes up. If you can look for it on Amazon and see what comes up. But in the beginner hour, starting at the beginning of the year, we'll be able to do this on the screen, and I'll have a laptop, and I think it'll be a lot more helpful. But I bet you the capital that you're going to need and the degree of competition, if this exists, for chicken electrolytes.
There's electrolyte soak bath for
So, but like that's something I wouldn't have thought about. I bet you it's going to be so much easier and still have a lot of meat on the bone in those categories than it's going to be if you just got into electrolytes because you want to get into supplements. So if you do, it's going to be even more important, in my opinion, for you to really niche down and cross some niches if you can. I think that's always a solid solid play that you can do. But whatever, I don't want to get too much in the weeds. Yep.
Question from the chat, from the screen. Is it better to choose a product that's projected to do well, or a product that you already know a lot about?
Yeah. That's a personal choice. Speaking to what I've done, I like getting into things that I'm passionate about or would like to be passionate about. That's just me. Which is the opposite advice of what most people I think would give. It's like break out Jungle Scout, look for inefficiencies and see what's doing good or what's trending, and then getting into that. That's not my style of doing it. I think there was a time on Amazon, and we're still in a little part of it, where you could get away with that, but we're quickly moving away from that. Like if you're not creating a brand and content and external traffic sources and all this stuff coming to Amazon, if you're not adding real value to the market by differentiating, we were talking earlier, your product and making improvements, CPC cost per click for PPC on Amazon is skyrocketing, and the degree of competition is significantly going up. So like Me Too product is a great way to show people how you can be a 7-figure seller and broke. So like you need to add some more value to it, and I think if you're knowledgeable of the product or you're passionate about it, I think, personal opinion, I think you have an advantage on Amazon. Just embrace it and go with it. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
We've tried several, we have the Amazon Seller account, and we've tried several approaches. We've tried the wholesale approach, we've tried arbitrage, now stuff in branding. Because I'm trying to figure out which one's gonna be more, just to kind of hit the floor running. We've sold a few items, nothing crazy. We've had items there for 6 months and they don't get any views. So I don't know exactly what we're doing wrong. Is it branding? I mean, I'm hearing you speak about different examples, and it seems like branding is the way to go, just to kind of go more into the niche.
So it sounds like your question now is that you have a private label product?
No, that's my next step, because wholesale really just sold a few. Arbitrage, maybe 2.
I spoke to you a few weeks back, and we tried to make it. We came by last week, and it was closed, I guess. And I told you, I think we spoke for a little while on the phone.
Okay.
And I had explained to you that we had a bunch of different products. Remember I told you, I talked to you about the flowers, fresh flowers shipped overnight. And so I think what she's trying to, that's what I told you, basically the issue that I was having was, getting the product to the front page, getting it to where people could see, because I don't think people are really even seeing our product.
Right, so.
We have Canada, we have United States, and we have Mexico.
Right. So
and Canada has actually been more productive than.
But like I explained to him, we never sent anything to FBA, so
No.
none of it is Prime, none of it is eligible for Prime, and I think that's a big deal, which is what I was telling you.
I think if somebody is not knowledgeable, and I'm gonna say really knowledgeable nowadays when it comes to actually shipping stuff, I don't think you should be doing FBM. That's again, my opinion.
That you should not be doing?
I don't think you should be doing FBM when you're first starting Amazon.
Right.
Like, you should send them stuff to FBA.
Right, I haven't. Yeah, I
If
haven't.
you are knowledgeable of shipping, I think there's some good arguments now with long check-in times to Amazon where you could actually sell something, but you know what you're doing. Most people I know, when I've talked to them about shipping, they really do not know what they're doing. They don't know their numbers, and they don't know to calculate where to buy the best materials to ship something. And in reality, they're not making any money. Like, they're not making any profit at the end of it. They didn't know the best way to actually ship it. So, like, I don't advise that. I think you should use FBA when you start, and like, it's the easiest.
Use
way to-
FBA.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
gotcha.
The other thing I would say, and that might have to do with why your product's not getting seen, because and they even have an antitrust case on this, is it's close to 60% of the households in the US have an Amazon Prime account. And a growing percentage of, do you have a Prime account?
Yeah, and a lot of times when I shop for something,
Do you buy
I
stuff?
click Prime, and if it's not Prime, I don't want to
Exactly.
see it.
Right, so like, a very large percentage of those people are saying, show me only Prime eligible items, right? So the visibility issue has a lot to do with that. Now, if you're gonna buy something arbitrage or wholesale and you're gonna resell it, unless you're like very knowledgeable of the platform and you're like connecting with a brand, like Alexei, is Alexei here?
He's also.
Yeah, like Alexei, so he's very knowledgeable of Amazon and he's connecting with the brand, he's gonna help grow their stuff.
I'm not that
Right,
knowledgeable. I'm
right.
trying
So,
to learn,
So
but
if you're not
it's
there, you
definitely
should
a
only
huge
get
platform.
products that as soon as you list them, they sell.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's where we're.
Right.
No.
If they're not doing that, then you're either having an issue with your product selection process or understanding buy box. Like, you probably something, and again, that's more to product selection. You saw something and you didn't know to see like, oh, this particular person's getting 90% of the box. So like, again, to me, that falls into product selection. If you're buying products from arbitrage and wholesale and they're not selling, there's an issue with your product selection.
There's something that Carlos used to say, I don't know if he says it anymore, which is, if you want to hide a dead body, you put it in the second page of an Amazon listing.
I've heard that one.
You want to be in page one, and you want to be top of page one, right? If your product is not top of page one, you're not going to get many of the sales. And how do you get to top of page one? Simple: conversion. Your conversion rate has to beat the market, period.
What would be the conversion?
Whatever the market conversion rate is for that particular keyword, for that particular product, let's say it's 15%, you want to be above 15% for your product to be top of page one. That's basically how Amazon determines whether your product is going to sell or not. You have to convert better.
I can agree with what he said before too about like niching down, because I think the only reason I sold the stuff that I sold was because it was so obscure and kind of niche that it sold, even though it wasn't in the buy box or Prime or any of that.
A particular buyer.
Private label's not, if there's an issue, this is not like singling you out, right? Like, this is like coming from a
Example.
If your issue is product selection, private label is gonna like really amplify that problem. It's not gonna get rid of it. Like, product selection is almost everything in private label. So I would be cautious. Like, I would hate for you to come back next week and be like, our container's on the way, and you sunk a whole bunch of money into a product in China and it's coming over, and come to find out it's a bad product, and trying to troubleshoot that after the fact is bad. So trying to think.
So what's the best way to go about product selection? Is it through?
I guess I'm not clear yet on whether wholesale arbitrage or private label would be best for you. Like, what sort of capital do you have put to the side to experiment with this? Like, not to your name. How much time during the week do you have to work on this? Do you have any other skills? Like, are you like TikTok influencers? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, to give an example, like this year, we tried flowers because she imports flowers from Ecuador.
So I have full access to all.
So we wanted to try to push them for Valentine's Day with overnight shipping direct from her facility to the customer. So I don't know if that would fall under Prime eligible or not.
No.
It wouldn't.
no.
Yeah. We had it on there, nothing, not one sale.
I think there's a really good opportunity for live plants on Amazon, but you're understanding that the reason there's an opportunity is because there's so much difficulty in the category. And if you're willing to take the time to solve that, than like Costa Farms and some of these other people. Like if you're willing to take the time to solve that, then it's gonna be great. But you need like an extra, you really need to be an expert in the category to make it work. Yeah,
Right.
FBA is not gonna hurt you when you're selling live plants because nobody else can sell FBA.
So-
So the playing field is equal.
So for what I did, like that I brought, this was before I knew her, I brought like, we brought, for example, these fireballs. They were fire extinguishers that were about the size of this,
Yeah.
with a little bracket that you hang on the wall, but you could put them in like engine compartments of semi trucks or RVs. And basically what it does is when the fire hits it, it blows up and extinguishes the fire.
Right, so when I hear something like that, because I don't know anything about the product, maybe everybody here does, like when I hear something like that, I'm like, do people know this thing exists? Like, did this thing just get created on Kickstarter?
It was already
It's probably
on
gonna be
there.
the best thing in the world, but like, do people know this thing exists and are they searching for it?
Most people don't.
Right, so that's a huge problem on Amazon.
Right.
Amazon is rolling out a lot of different programs now with ads to make awareness a stronger play on Amazon, but that's a very, very expensive and difficult thing to do on Amazon right now, is to make people aware, right?
Right.
So the other part of that is, if somebody, is the search terms that somebody would search for, like that product, that fireball extinguisher.
Well, it would probably pop up under
What does it
fire
replace?
extinguisher.
Right, so, okay, so when somebody searches for fire extinguisher and your product comes up and you've really gone all in on your main image, is it obvious to someone what your product does? And remember, in your main image, you're very limited on things you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not gonna be
Basically,
able to
it's
show
a
a
picture
video.
of the item. That's it.
Right, so like, is it gonna be able to communicate immediately that this is an alternative to a fire extinguisher and maybe a better one? The other thing is, how is it priced versus extinguisher? I'm assuming you're gonna win on that, I'm assuming it's much cheaper, right?
They were like $30,
How much is a fire extinguisher
or
equivalent?
if I recall correctly, because it's been a few years, but they were fire. It's been so long, man. I havened played with it in a
Well,
while.
those are the issues you're
But those are
dealing-
the important numbers.
Right,
I know what
those
you
are
mean.
the kind of the questions you want to ask yourself there. I had somebody who's this person that cranks out patents every week, like just a brain broke, which a lot of those people, that's how they are, right? But just broke. And he came to me with this. You ever heard of the squatty potty?
Yeah, that was on Shark Tank, actually.
Big U-shaped plastic thing, and apparently when you sit on the toilet, you have your legs up, and it puts you more into that
It's
position.
a Japanese.
Asian, yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you that go on the trip to China and you get first-hand experience of the original squatty potty. But this person decided, like, he knew more than these people about the squatty potty. So the squatty potty has it's this U-shaped piece of plastic. He realized, like, you don't need anything in the middle. You just need the 2 foot pedals, if you will. So first of all, it's a space saver if you eliminate the thing in the middle. Remember this? We talked about this briefly.
I think you should talk about the floor mat for COVID that was amazing.
You stack these 2 things together, all of a sudden you're looking at a really good option here, because like another cool way to sell, and then the engineering thing is, look at anything that's slightly oversized, and can you re-engineer this to where it comes in a much smaller package? That's a good opportunity, but in this case, that's what that would do. And then the other thing is, he angled the pedals up a little bit, because apparently how the squatty potty is not the most optimal way. That slight tilt that sets the muscle in the front of your calves on
Okay.
fire, right? So that slight little tilt apparently is a really big deal with your bowel functions. Okay, whatever. So he did all these patents. But here's the thing. If somebody searches for squatty potty, guess what they want to buy?
Squatty potty.
A squatty potty, right? The other search terms that are available for this are not relevant to the product. They bring up all these other things. And then showing the space-saving compatibility, instead showing this 2 plastic blocks together, doesn't do anything. So that's a really big issue, that it can't be communicated in the main image. So like,
So would you do like advertisement? That's where the TikTok
I think
influencers-
social media is a better place to get the awareness for that. TikTok right now would be phenomenal for that. I do not have firsthand TikTok experience. So
We were also selling them on eBay at the same time, and it was, I mean, on eBay, we were selling them like 3 to 1 compared to Amazon. They were going a lot faster on eBay.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of like, do people know this exists?
Right.
And they search for it. But you get a few people to do a TikTok video on this, and whereas like it seems like that does really,
I
really
didn't
well.
do any of that, so.
Well, don't worry. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I haven't done a TikTok ad. You know what I mean? So like, you're not missing out. Like, it's something I really need to learn as well. any questions? Anybody want to feedback on that? We have 3 more minutes.
This same inventor, by the way, this same inventor came up with a mat. It had special wire on it that as you walked into a
Your
hotel,
push-ups ready?
it would take the COVID virus off your feet.
Zap it.
Zap it. So we had an amazing mat that was, I mean, great product, right? Especially during the pandemic. But how do you sell it? Doormat, floor mat, amongst all those other sellers that are out there. How do you
Your
make it?
mat comes up next to $6 mats, and yours is a $180 mat.
Right. Even though it's amazing mat, how do you differentiate? That's what he's getting at, I guess. And I would,
Carlos,
if I were you, I'd pick a niche and go to the trade shows. Like there's a trade show, an RV trade show I think in Fort Myers in January. So go and look at the stuff there, if that's your thing.
how important is pay-per-click, PPC, right now compared to years before?
Well, there's a saying that I love. Then again, I'm a bit of an ad guy, even though I hate the certain parts of it. Is in good times you should run ads. In bad times you must run ads.
Okay.
It's a pretty significant statement, right? The big companies that we're talking, when we talk about running ads, what we're talking about is Facebook, Instagram, which we're going to talk about today. Facebook, Instagram, I guess to a smaller extent, what's Snapchat and TikTok and Bing and all that, Google ads, YouTube ads, and Amazon ads. Like that's really what we're talking about. And these, coincidentally, these platforms, their number 1 profit source is paid ads, right? So by design, the way they make more money is for us to get our stuff out there and run paid ads. Amazon's on track to be the biggest one, right? And they have first-party data knowing what we shop for, and they're very good at it. So
Because
it is critical.
okay,
Like, it's
because 4 years ago it was not.
4 years ago, it was very important.
Okay,
But 4 years ago, if you had a flask, I don't know why I'm thinking of a Myers, whatever flask, but you had a flask in the industrial scientific category, and you were one of 2 people selling it. And, oh, here's one. A long time ago, I used to sell, you know, the Vitamix blenders? If something breaks in that thing, you're pretty much paying a few $100s to replace that part. So like, there's this piece that goes in the middle, this plastic piece that spins and I guess holds the blade, but not the blade. That Vitamix was selling for like $165. I don't remember the exact number, but it was something stupid like that. I could get this thing higher quality from China for like $3. So I listed it for like $39.99, replacement part compatible with Vitamix. I didn't sell it as a Vitamix replacement part. These things flew. I never ran a paid ad on that thing. There was replacement part of Vitamix by Vitamix for $165, and there was replacement part, generic, compatible with amazing reviews for $40. It worked. But even that, like the days of that is just like really, really past. Could there be an exception of one product? Maybe. But you want to get found on Amazon now in a search, and you have no conversions on your listing, you need ads.
okay.
Or your parents.
Even if it's sold
buying
before,
for your
even
product.
if it's sold before, you can still like.
Well, as it's sold before, you now have conversion into it, and I guess if you had one, that top of page 1 for that search term was 1 conversion, then yeah, you technically, when the second conversion comes around, you're gonna be at the top. But you probably are not gonna make any money off a product like that. And by the 5th conversion, you're gonna have a lot of listings competing. No, it's not like that. That ship has sailed.
Amazon had a lot of demand, built-in demand over the past decade, that the demand outweighed the supply. Those days are over, just like you said. There's supply for almost every demand in Amazon. Could you find a few little holes here and there? Yes, but as
But they
long as
wouldn't
there's
even pay
supply,
your- they
people are
wouldn't
gonna
even pay your
be,
phone bill.
people are going to be doing ads for them. So it's gonna be very hard to not do ads nowadays.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna stop here. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. Help yourself to those sugar-free, carb-free empanadas that we have, courtesy of our sponsors, calorie-free, amazing. That's how I stay lean, right? But help yourself to that. We're gonna get set up with Kerry, take maybe like 5-10 minutes max. I'll let you guys know when we're ready to start. And thank you so much. Let's do it. You ready? He has everybody do this workout routine in the beginning, and he's popular for this. You're gonna love it. Okay. So let's do a few things. I'm gonna get a remote. Between this. What you gonna do? Yes.
I did sell live, I'm sorry. I did sell live plants.
On the right, the something locked up. You canceled after the final pay? Before? Probably because you got a cheaper price with a non-refundable deposit. We already have the date for it. Tomorrow. You just roll it over. So you lost it? No, you have to deposit as credit. You should have. This one is January. No, July. February. Something. It's the first week of February. February 5th, February 6th. I know it's that because let's get his birthday, so. So you say like do it, it's like, no, I have a birthday before or after. But yeah, it's already done. We already know. We're already thinking now, if he hasn't booked it, just wait. Just wait. But as soon as he
Check, hello. Check. Now. Can you hear me? Check, hello, hello. Test, 1 2, hello. Check.
I think it's the same one we took.
What's up, right?
I think,
Oh, one of the socks
something
email.
else, and he's like, he's gonna finish something, he's like, doesn't matter,
So you want me to hit allow or not? You want to wait till hit allow or go ahead and hit it?
it's a new ship of carnival.
I think I'm good. No. Oh, it said allow.
It is for the new one.
What?
He doesn't want to.
Oh, it's already up there.
I thought you were gonna put it from
Oh, yeah, that,
here.
I'll turn the
From,
TV off when we go to connect.
Okay.
you're looking behind you.
That icon.
Okay.
Main problem is that
I was trying to get him to switch to cruise line for me, that's really good too. I've been on one already, it's really different, it looks completely different, but it just seems like during the day, everything has to.
Ramon.
Everything has to fall correct. And another thing is that he wants.
You created it yourself?
Right? Well,
He wants 3 days after.
So you basically designed the
That's
game.
another issue. There's a lot of things that come into consideration.
thing about games is that it's very slow.
Because he wants 3 days after,
So-
you have 3 days of fight.
Unlike supplements, you can think of the next supplement and the next supplement and the next supplement really fast and just contacting a factory. When it comes to games, you have to think about it, play test, adjust, fix, verify, and then so the whole play testing process of a game takes a long time. So how's it going? I'm having a blast. I'm having a great time because I enjoy what I do, but I wish it was faster.
You want to sell on Amazon?
Oh no, I'm selling on Amazon, yeah, for sure.
But only Amazon?
Only Amazon, and I'm starting now. We're about to open Shopify and do Facebook ads and do all that stuff.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
But yeah, you gotta be omnichannel. No matter what. The moment Amazon is great if you have a product that can take advantage of the demand that exists in Amazon, and you have a better product than the competition, and you know how to create your listing, and you know how to get people to convert. If you know how to do all that, the eyeballs are at Amazon, right? You want to be at Amazon. But like what they were saying, if you have a product where the eyeballs are not in Amazon, like nobody knows the product exists, you don't go to Amazon to create awareness. You don't go there for that. You do that with Facebook ads, with Instagram ads, to your Shopify site. Yeah, you want to be an Amazon, no matter what. Like CPC, everything. Like what am I not running, right?
How much you're paying?
It really depends on the keyword, right? On average, I would say between $1 and $2 per click, right? And but there's some that are like $7 per click, and there's some that are 35 cents per click. Right?
Well,
Yeah.
if you're selling toothpaste, sorry, jumping into the conversation. There is some clicks. If you're selling toothpaste, for example, you're gonna sell fluoride toothpaste. Well, rock and roll.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. In supplements, it's super high, way higher than in games.
What do you think of candles?
Of what?
Candles.
What about it?
Handmade candles.
Fantastic. What about it?
Like the market right now?
I don't know enough about the market, but I know plenty of people that are doing a great living selling condoms. They put funny phrases on the candle, and then that's how they differentiate themselves. Still, just a scent.
That's a regular thing, but that is a real
photo. Right?
So you hire like
nobody can reinvent that, but they create a brand around.
Yeah, look how good it makes me look.
Don't do mess in my bathroom. Candles.
All right, let's do it.
You know, so they create a brand around that.
People weren't here earlier. Kerry's going to be speaking today on how to sell products on Facebook and Instagram ads. Actual products, which is very different than services, as some of you may know. Tomorrow, Kerry's also teaching a full-day workshop on print on demand. So I'm not going to steal a lot of thunder of his intro, but two very good presentations. This will run till about 3:30, and afterwards, like I said, we're going to stay here, we're going to network, and everyone can talk to each other. You can ask particular questions that you feel like are specific to you. To Kerry, and with that, we'll let it go. Questions? Do you want everyone to hold the questions until the end, or ask?
So I think I'm gonna, like about halfway, I've got kind of a breaking point there. We'll probably do a few questions over the first part, and then we'll go into like the second half. So, and then we'll do questions at the end too. So a couple spots for questions. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Everybody doing good?
Hello, hello.
Good to see you guys. Good to meet a few of you guys before. So I'm excited to talk about this today. I was just thinking, I did a presentation like last year, spoke at like a t-shirt and screen printing conference, and I spoke about Facebook ads. I was just thinking, it's weird because I've run Facebook ads for like, apparel brands and for churches, and for one time I ran Facebook ads for like a lawnmower business where they sell like lawn mowing equipment. I started thinking about all these things that I run ads for. I was like, man, I really have run ads for a lot of weird, different kinds of businesses. So Facebook and Instagram ads was basically how I got into this whole online business thing. And so I won't bore you with that whole story, but it's kind of in my DNA as a online entrepreneur is Facebook and Instagram ads. It's how I've launched multiple businesses and done all kinds of stuff. So my name's Kerry Egeler. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I really appreciate Carlos inviting me down. This is my beautiful family. They're why I do everything I do. This is my wife, Angela, of 11 years in November. And it's my son, Calvin, who's about to be 8, and my daughter, Sage, who is 5. So they're my whole world, and I always have to I always want to show them off because they're so beautiful and amazing. So anyways, very nice to meet all you guys. Super excited to be here. I'm probably going to sit for most of this, but I'm excited to dive in. So this is how to sell physical products with Facebook and Instagram ads specifically. And this is going to be exciting. I also want to let you know up front, there's like no fluff in this presentation. So it's really deep, rich content and training. So I'm not going to be boring you with a bunch of stories or anything like that. Like, we're here to learn, and this is a workshop. So we're definitely going to be diving in pretty deep today. The first part is a little more, it's I guess a little more fun. The second part is a little more hands-on or a little more just really deep info. So that's about it. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to start off by covering the best ads for t-shirts, print-on-demand, apparel, but really physical products. I didn't mention, so I'm the founder of a program called Shirt School, and I've really kind of, I guess you could say I've made my online fortunes in t-shirts and apparel and print-on-demand, which is why tomorrow I'm teaching on a workshop, all-day workshop on print-on-demand. So I founded a program called Shirt School. We help people build profitable apparel brands on the internet, and so some of this is tailored a little bit more towards t-shirts, apparel, and print-on-demand. I think there's going to be a lot of really good nuggets that you're going to get out of it for any kind of physical products. And most, if not all, of this stuff really applies to all types of products. So, and when we get to the question portion, if there's things you're like, does that work for this versus t-shirts or apparel, feel free to ask. So first, we're going to cover the best types of ads for physical products. Second, we're going to cover campaign setup tips when you're actually going in and setting up a Facebook ads campaign. We're going to cover targeting, a little bit on targeting, and I think I've got one slide on budgeting, so we'll cover a little bit on budgeting. So we're going to start it off with the best ads for t-shirts, print-on-demand, apparel, or any type of physical products. So first thing I want to let you know is that Facebook provides the highest return on investment of any paid channel on the internet. These are actually what the statistics show, is that all the other platforms, Carlos just mentioned them, you've got Google, and you've got YouTube, and Amazon, and you've got TikTok ads now. But still, in 2023 going into 2024, Facebook and Instagram provide the highest return on investment of any paid channel on the internet. So if you're going to go run ads anywhere on the internet, still today, through all the iOS 14 changes, all the, some people say, oh, 6-7 years ago it was the glory days of Facebook ads. They still provide the highest return on investment of any paid channel on the internet. And just to be super clear, if you guys aren't aware, Facebook and Instagram are the same company, both owned by Meta. So when we talk about Facebook ads, I'm really talking about both Facebook and Instagram ads. They're both run from the same platform, both from Facebook Ads Manager. And so pretty much everything applies to both that I'm talking about. So I also like to just talk about this because it's so interesting to think about. To reach 1,000 people with direct mail. So if you're going to mail 1,000 pieces of marketing material out to a bunch of different people, it costs about 300 times the cost of reaching them with the Facebook ad. Is that crazy? I don't have the specific numbers in front of me, but it's literally like $1,000, like thousands of dollars more to reach just 1,000 people with old school way of like direct mail, where now we can just put an ad in front of them on their Facebook or Instagram feed, and it's incredibly cheap. So I say that to just put it in perspective how incredibly cheap it is, because what I see is a lot, especially from beginners, is we go in and we run our first ads and we spend like $25 and we're like, it didn't work. I didn't get any sales. I didn't get any results. Facebook ads don't work. And it's over. That's the end of it, right? And when we really put it in perspective and you think about if you're going to put a billboard on the side of the road, or you're going to send thousands of people direct mailers, or run a TV commercial, right? Put a commercial on TV. Think about how incredibly expensive that is. Hiring actors and getting the film crew and having it edited and scripting it and putting together a story. It's like all this stuff. And you end up tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to do these kind of things. And also in comparison just with the results, a lot of times when you do direct mail, you're not going to get very good results. You're actually going to get much better results doing online advertising through Facebook and Instagram or other platforms. You're going to get much better results for way, way cheaper. So we're living in a time, like we're living in, you might say, the golden age of advertising, because it's so simple, it's so inexpensive, and it's so much more effective than old school ways of marketing. All right, so I also want to show you this to kind of start it off. This is an image you can find on Google, and it's a little bit about the psychology. I just use it to kind of illustrate the psychology of an ad. So, I'll give you a second to look at that. But this is really cool because this is not an image of a Facebook ad, but it actually illustrates the psychology of a Facebook ad very, very well. So this isn't even an ad. This isn't even about ads. But this is cool because when you compare it to a Facebook or Instagram ad, this middle part would become your image or video. This next part would become your headline. This next part would be your call to action. And this last part would be your ad copy. And so it lines up perfectly with an ad that you would see in your feed. And I use this to show you the importance of different parts of the ad when you're going to create them. And the reason is because I work with thousands of students every year in my programs, and we spend a lot of time on writing the ad when actually that's the least important thing of the whole ad, right? If you look at this illustration, the first thing you're going to see is that image and video section. That's going to be the most important part of your ad, the creative. When you're making ads, you need to be putting the most effort and spending the most time on what is the image or video look like. That's going to draw the most attention. And what's even crazier than that, if you think about what's getting the most attention on social media right now, it is Reels and short form video, TikToks, right? Those don't even really have text, right? You're just watching the video. So we spend a lot of time when it comes to ads. We spend a lot of time trying to craft these amazing messages and this ad copy. And it's actually the least important thing. It's the thing that people are going to look at last. First, they're going to see your image or video, right? They're going to spend the most time and attention there. Then they're going to go right below that. They're going to read the headline. What is the head? You're watching the video or the image and you think, what is this? And you go and read the headline, right? And that's the big text right below your image or video. Then they're going to see your call to action, which is probably like a shop now or learn more or something like that. Then lastly, if they're really interested, they might read your ad copy. So I like to show that just to kind of put that in perspective a little bit. The most important part of your ad is actually not your ad copy. It's a winning product. It's not necessarily how good you are at running ads. I should put it that way. It's not, you could be really bad at running ads, but have a really, really good product. A really, really good design, as we would talk about in print on demand or apparel, the design on the apparel, right? It's about having a good product first. And what I'm going to show you in the next few slides is some t-shirt designs that were really poor ads, but sold really, really well, just to kind of illustrate this. If you guys have probably how many of you guys have scrolled through your Facebook or Instagram feed and you get like some page that has like no logo and it's like some product and you're like, what is this, right? Anybody ever seen that? You're like, what is this like weird? They don't even have like a logo, but it's an ad and it's some random product or something like that. Sometimes those ads actually work, but the reason is because they usually have a really good product, right? It's not so much that their ad is this amazing ad. Now, some of those things can affect your ad. Yeah, like good ad copy can increase conversions, sure. A good headline can increase conversions, but most of the time it's going to start with 99% of the time, you got to have a great product, and then you got to have a really good creative, meaning a great image or great video to really sell it. Okay, so here's a couple really bad, really poor ads. So if you look up here, this is ravennargizo.fashion, whatever that is. I can't even see their logo there. And it just says, t-shirt about mental health with some green hearts and a hashtag. Like they thought the hashtag was really going to make an effect there. And then they've got shop now with that little link there. But look down here. It's got 11,000 likes or engagements, 666 comments, and 1.1 thousand shares. So this is like a terrible ad, right? But why was it so successful? Why did it have so much engagement? Well, the first thing is it's a really good design about mental health. It made people instantly be like, oh man, I get that. Or they related to it in some way. And then they also have a really good image. This is a really good image. You can see that it's kind of catered towards females, right? This is like a female outfit. And you can see the design very clear. It's big. right up front. These are things I'm going to talk more about. But this product sold because the design, the actual product, and the image was really good. Nobody cared about the logo and the, it just says t-shirt about mental health. It's like, this is a terrible ad, right? But it worked. And these are just some other designs, mainly in t-shirts and apparel. I've got a mug there and some jewelry. These are like great designs that all sold really, really well with Facebook and Instagram ads. And you can see by these images, they're just very clear, up close. They are, easy to see the product. You don't have to strain. You don't have to look around for it. Like, you know right away if that interests you or not. And they're pretty basic. And I also have these up here just to show you how simple your ad should be. A lot of people try to overcomplicate the ad. They try to make this really, really super creative or produced type ad. They do a video and they got to get the right person. It's like, just pull out your phone and record a quick ad, or use a simple mock-up that you could get from a million different places on the internet. You can create it in a second. You could use AI to create something in Midjourney. I mean, don't overcomplicate it. Keep your ads very, very simple. You only have, maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds. You hear the statistics about our attention span is always waning, right? It's down, down, down. People are scrolling through social media. Like, you got to be able to hook them within like a second, right? So if you've got some complex ad that takes 2 minutes to understand, you're probably not going to make that sale, because most people aren't stopping at every post and every ad, especially ads, right, and looking at it. So you've got to be able to communicate a message really, really fast. And so by having super simple ads like this, they're going to see it right away, and it's going to be like, oh, I get it, right, and speaking to me. So simple ads. So let's talk about the 4 best types of ads. And this is really for the first part of the presentation is I want to show you the 4 best types of ads that you can run to get the most results. And with the kind of just also letting you know that inside Facebook Ads Manager, which is where you're going to run all your ads, Facebook Ads Manager, there's like a billion different types of ads that you can run. There are so many different types of ads. You can run lead ads, and you can run shopping ads that go to your Facebook or Instagram shop, and you can run video ads, and you can run ads for engagement or sales, or for, you can get people to fill out applications. There's a million different types of ads. So I want to cut through the noise and show you the 4 best types of ads specifically for physical products. And so we're going to do that right now. So first of all is single image ads. This is what I just showed you, where you're just running an image. Okay, so just plain old image, nothing too crazy. Second type of ad is a carousel ad. These are the type of ads that you see in your feed where you scroll through the products, right? And there's like 5, 10 products. You're like scrolling through, like, ooh, I like that. It's kind of like a catalog of your products, okay? The third type of ad is a product demo or unboxing video. So again, in the spirit of keeping it super duper simple, right? If you're looking for a video idea to run as an ad for your product, just do an unboxing. Like, just do a demo of how it works, right? I could sell this adapter and I could do a little demo. Like, look, you just plug it in. Here's how simple it is, and all of a sudden your laptop shows on the screen. Doing a super simple demo like that can be very effective, or an unboxing video, right? We've seen over the last 10 years, unboxing videos are like why do we watch those things? Like, I'll sit there for hours and watch people unbox like pickleball paddles and guitars, and like it's just like, yeah. Anyways. So product demos and unboxing videos are really good. And the last one, which kind of ties in with the third one, is a testimonial video, video or picture, but a testimonial. And testimonial ads are, again, extremely effective if you use them the right way. And it's simply just showing a customer that loves your product and they're talking about how much they love it, or just showing a review from one of your customers where you put that on an image. There's different ways of doing it. I'll show you some of those examples. But these are the 4 best types of ads that I would recommend that you run. And your brand probably needs to be doing multi-6 figures or maybe even multi-7 figures before you even do anything else. There's really not reason for you to even need to do any type of other ads besides these 4 for physical products. So let's do it. I also wanted to give you this. This is just a really cool little tool. So you guys, hopefully you guys all use Chrome and you know about Chrome extensions. But if you go to the Chrome extension store, the little things you can add into your browser, you get this thing called My Ad Finder. And what it does is this actually, when you go to your Facebook feed, it will remove all, this is kind of weird, but it will remove all your friends' posts so you only get ads, which is kind of like, who wants that? Only marketers want that. But it's pretty cool because you can go through and you can turn on this little extension, My Ad Finder. It'll remove all the posts, so you only see ads. And so you can go through there and you can actually like find ads that are working and find ads that are successful. And you can start screenshotting those or getting inspiration from those. And I think as a marketing tool, it's pretty cool because you can scroll through your feed and you can see hundreds of ads in like 30 minutes where, if you had all your friends' posts in there, it's like you're only getting one ad every 5 or 6 times. So just a cool little extension that you can use. So let's talk about single images. So again, this is simply where there's just an image of your product, some ad copy at the top, like we showed you earlier, a link down below, headline. This is still the top type of ad today. It's the most run type of ad. Super simple, right? Nothing too crazy. There's tons of different formats and sizes. So that's something to know about single image ads is some of them can be tall, right? Some of them can be more wide. Some of them can be square. What I would recommend that you do with the single image ads is most of the time, just make it a square, right? Don't do wide ads. The reason is because those take up less space in your feed. So when your customer comes across an ad and it's like wide, it's not tall, it's gonna be very small on their phone. If it's more tall, it's either a square or even a little bit, you can make it even taller than that. It's gonna take up more of their screen real estate, so they'll see it more. You can make your ads like the size of a story, which is like 9:16, right? And that'll take up their whole screen, especially if they're seeing it in stories. Sometimes in the Facebook feed, it will crop it kind of weird, which is why I usually say go with the square. But you can test running really tall ads that fit like a story, so you kind of see how that works for you. So there's tons of different formats and sizes. Generally, the best ads are product mock-ups or a picture of your ideal customer wearing your product or using your product. So the first type there, like a product mock-up, right? Super simple. You want your product to be in the forefront. You want it to be the focal point of the image, right? Just a pretty basic mock-up. Doesn't need to be anything too fancy. I see all kinds of weird ads that people try to run all the time, and it's like, just keep it super basic, right? Again, going back to the adapter, I might set up a really, really clear, black background, have my adapter up close, picture of it, super duper simple. The second part of that, so if you're in the apparel, print-on-demand, clothing space, right? I said your ideal customer wearing your product. So you want to show one of your customers wearing that T-shirt, right? And again, just a clear image, same as what I talked about before. You want that design in the forefront, but it helps to have the customer that you're going after have that type of person in the ad, right? And to make that connection. I'm a 34-year-old dad from Oklahoma. So if I see another dad that looks like me wearing a shirt or using a product, whether I need that product or not doesn't really matter. I'm gonna want it because guys like me are using it, right? So that's important. No matter what type of product that you're selling, right? If you're selling a product to a 19-year-old female, you don't want a 65-year-old male in the ad using it. So that's really important. Again, I bring this up because I see, you would be shocked how many stores and brands that I see that run these ads. It's like, well, I'm just gonna run 10 different types of people. It's like, it just doesn't work. They want to connect with everybody. And again, kind of relating it with what Carlos talked about, I love some of those things he talked about being very specific about your niche and those kind of things. Same thing goes for ads. Be very specific about what kind of people you're showing and what they're wearing and those kind of things and what they look like, what's their age group, right? Those kind of things matter. So keep your ad simple, single image ad. And the last thing here, if you see standout designs or products in your organic efforts, you should try testing them as a single image ad. What I mean by this is, as a beginner, one of the best strategies is putting out content on social media with your products and see what gets disproportionate engagement. So if you have an Instagram account or even TikTok or whatever platform you're using, and you're sprinkling in with organically, you're sprinkling in some of your products, start really paying close attention to which products are getting more love from your following. That's a good indication that you might want to take that product to a paid ad. Okay, so it doesn't need to be a lot. If you have an Instagram account, you have all this content on there, and you see that one of your products gets 5 likes, whereas your other products are getting 2, go with the 5 like one, right? Turn it into a single image ad and see how that performs on a paid ad. All right, so let's look at some more examples here. This is again, a t-shirt. It says, "Their hearts are as big as their heads," for dog lovers. So we've got a clear, close-up, high-quality mock-up or photo of the product and design. And I'm going to show you a bunch of examples here because I want to show you a few different types of ads. These are all single image ads. And I'm just going to kind of break these down. Okay, so we got clear, close-up, high-quality mock-up or photo of the product and design. We've got a short and to-the-point ad copy. They use an emoji here, gets a little more attention. And they use urgency and give you a direct link. So they say something only available for a short time. Okay, so they use a little bit of urgency there. And they've got the link to it there. And then lastly, you've got your headline and your call to action. That call to action is going to be that Shop Now button. Now, this one specifically, they could have done more with the headline, right? They just put Love Pets, which is like the name of their page or something. So they didn't do much with the headline. They could have done more in the headline. In your headline, you usually want to you can do a couple of things. You can talk about maybe a sale or promotion that you have in that headline, because that will stand out to people. You might talk about free shipping or something like that in that headline. You could also talk about just kind of the main theme of the product or design. So in this one, they could have just put, their hearts are as big as their heads there. Might be something to just echo what the designer of the product is saying. But usually in the headline, because it will get a lot of eyeballs next to the image, I'm going to put something about the promotion or about the benefit, the biggest benefit of the product, whatever kind of that standout benefit or standout thing you want them to know. It might be if it's Black Friday, you're running a Black Friday ad, you want to talk about your Black Friday sale in that headline. You want to tell them everything's 50% off in that headline, okay? Let's do a couple more. So this is another one from this brand called In God We Trust. So they've got a clear close-up photo of the product and design. And what I love about this one is they show their ideal customer, right? So this is, you can describe her, whatever she looks like, the age group. This is who they're trying to connect with, right? So they're showing that type of person in the ad, but they're not taking attention away from the design. The design is still the focal point. It's up close. It's not in the background of the image. They've got contrasting color in the background, so it's a black shirt, and then you've got almost a white or washed out background, so it makes that shirt pop a lot more, right? But what I want you to get from this is that the person is not the focal point, but the person is there, to connect in their audience with who they're wanting to target. So that t-shirt design is the focal point. They've got, again, a short to the point ad copy. It starts with a bold statement and echoes the t-shirt slogan. So the t-shirt says, "Your mentality is your reality." So they put that in the ad copy, "Your mentality is your reality," with the fire emoji. Then they have some scarcity because they said limited stock item. So you're again, remember, you're going to read that ad copy last. So what's the sequence you're going to go through here? You're going to look at the image as your customer. You're going to look at the image. You're going to be like, "Oh, that's a cool t-shirt. Oh, I identify with that lady's age and her, what she looks like. That kind of looks like me." Then you're going to go down and read the headline. "Your mentality is your reality." Okay, it's echoing the t-shirt. Shop Now call to action. Then you're going to go to the ad copy, and you're going to see that they put limited stock item. And you're going to be like, "Oh, if I want that, I should probably go get it soon because they're going to run out," right? So that urgency and scarcity is really important there. Okay, I think I got one or two more here. Again, these are all single image ads. Remember, this is the first type of ad, single image ads. So this one, again, a clear, close-up, high-quality mock-up of the product and design. I like this one because it starts with "restocked" as the message, shows that this is a popular design, and conveys urgency to buy quick before it sells out again. Gives a link directly to products, and then this one, it communicates the benefits and even some social proof. So this one, they did a little bit more with the ad copy. This is probably my favorite one of the examples with the ad copy. So the message of "restocked." It's a really good message. It doesn't have to be for apparel. This could be for any type of product, right? If you you have a product that's really selling, and you can use the messaging of, hey, we just restocked as kind of a hook. What that conveys is, this is a hot selling item. We're going to run out again. If you want one, get one now. So I really like that image or that message of restocked. They put the link, and then what else I really like is that they actually communicated some benefits and social proof. So some of the things they said, premium 100% American-made tees. That's important to people, right? That it's American-made. So they communicated that. Ships in compostable packaging, eco-friendly. That's a good benefit. Free returns and exchanges. It's a good benefit, right? That's the reason I'd want to buy from them. And they said 10,000 plus reviews. That's huge, right? Social proof. Showing them that, again, you said your item just restocked and it's a hot selling item, but then by showing you've got 10,000 plus reviews, that's backing up the claim that you made that it's a hot selling item. So that's a really good message. Their headline communicates quality and origin. So they put premium quality shirts in the headline, and they put a little American flag. So again, they're continuing to communicate benefits. We have high quality shirts made in America. They're communicating those benefits, and again, using the shop now call to action. Now on that call to action button, I feel like I'm. You guys, do you guys feel like you're drinking from the fire hose, or is this good? You're like, is it overwhelming you? Okay. I'm going fast. I'm realizing that I'm going. I need to get through more info. I got a lot of info in here. So,
You're good.
So where was I going with that? So in the call to action, that little button, you can make that say a bunch of different things. 99 times out of 100 for physical products, we're going to go with shop now. Like that's usually going to be the call to action you want to use. There's learn more. There's I think there's one that says buy now. There's one that like shop now is like that's the best one in all my years of experience. So here's another single image ad. Now this one, I'm talking about the creative specifically, not necessarily the ad copy, just some things that you can do. So this one adds some subtle text to the image to convey a sale, discount code, or other benefit. Did not make this the focal point of your ad. So they're selling some chicken shorts here, but what's cool is they're running 20% off. Now instead of just putting that in the ad copy, which not many people will see, they added it to the image. They put the little 20% off badge in the image. So that more people will see that it's 20% off. Because what's crazy is, and what I've seen, this is always the case. I don't know why this is the case. Well, I guess I do know why. But most of the time, as marketers, we'll put our discount or our sale or discount code in the ad copy. And like majority of people don't use it. They don't use the discount code for whatever reason. And I always wondered when I first started running ads, I was like, I'm giving them like a 20% off code. Why are they not using it? I know they're clicking on the ad and buying it. I've got the sale. But why are they not using the discount code? And it's because of that psychology. Most people aren't reading the ad copy. They're looking at the image and they're like, ooh, I want that. They click on it and buy. They never see the discount code. So by putting that image on your image can help to increase conversions because more people will see the discount code, drawing more people to make a purchase, right? So adding that to your image is a really good idea. All right, this is one of my students here named Josh Stover. This is actually one of his actual ads. This ad here probably did, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000 in sales, somewhere around that mark. Again, a clear close-up photo of the product and design. It's a really simple ad. What's cool is he added supporting text that is larger than the ad copy to draw more attention. So you can communicate things like a sale, a discount code, or just say something to get attention. So what he said, let's be honest, this is more true than we care to admit. Put that in red. Now, I look at this and I'm like, this isn't even very well designed. Like this is like, if you look at this, I mean, it's a black text on a green shirt, and then it's like it's black text on a red box. He even put a black drop shadow on black text in his designing. I'm like, this just isn't a very good ad creative. But again, it's sold like crazy because the design is good, right? And it's a really clear image, spoke to his audience. But what I wanted to point out about this is that this is another way you can communicate a message without, or you can communicate something and draw more attention to it by putting the text on the image when you're designing that image, okay? So the same as we talked about with the shorts where they put the 20% off, he put a red box because he really wanted people to see that text. So that's another thing you can do. There used to be a rule with Facebook ads that you couldn't have more than 30% of the image with text, like more than 30. If you had 50% of the image was text, they would like deny the ad. They took that rule away like a year or two ago. So now you can put more text in your ads, and that can be a useful tool. Again, his ad copy is short to the point. He asked a question for engagement. Another good tip here. In your ad copy, he said, "Is this not true?" to his audience. Like, isn't this true? Right? So he used a question to get more engagement. You can see the engagement. I don't think I actually have a box that goes around it, but look at the engagement. 4.8 thousand likes, 734 comments, 2.1 thousand shares. It's people in the comments going, "Oh my gosh, I get that. Oh yeah, that's me," right? Dudes that tinker with things, and take things apart, and like to fix things on their own, right? They're like, "Oh man, I need that t-shirt," right? Because that's me. Okay, so another thing here, another tip when it comes to single image ads. This is a brand called Kingdom and Will. What I want you to notice is these are 5 different ads that they were running at the time I took these screenshots, and they're all using the same mock-up, the same mock-up. So what I want you to get from this is when you find an ad that works, do more of the same thing. Right? Like, do that ad over and over, and maybe change out the background color, right? You see the yellow one right there? Literally just change the background to yellow. And they had a new ad creative, right, that could potentially...
Were they running at the same time?
Yes, these are all running at the same time, yeah. But the idea here is like, oh, there must be a reason that this dude with looking down at the shirt, why that worked. So what they did is they took that same idea, same mock-up, put a different design on it. He's got Grace and then he's got Yahweh. Then they put a different background, right? And they're just changing little things up. Like, again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, you don't have to be the most creative person in the world to take a picture of it. They didn't even take this picture. I'm sure this is a stock mock-up. But to take a picture of a product on a white background, right? It could be anything. It could be a kitchen gadget. It could be anything. And then go into Photoshop or Canva, change the background to yellow and blue and red, and see if those work, right? And then just tinker with it, add some text on it, right? Little changes sometimes make a big difference with Facebook and Instagram ads. And the whole idea here is to get people to stop and look. So when they put that yellow on there, maybe that got people to stop a little bit more. Like, oh, yellow, right? It's more bright, right? It catches more attention. So it's just interesting, and if you find something that works, do more like that, right? Do more variations, small tweaks can be very successful. All right, let's keep moving here. That was, I think, the longest one of these 4. So talking about a carousel ad, that's where you swipe through. You can display an assortment of your products that people can swipe through. It's great for finding standout designs or products. So in talking about physical products in general, not just t-shirts and apparel, let me kind of put that into terms that would be more palatable here. Specifically, if you're going to run a carousel, you want all the products to be related in that carousel. So what I mean by that is if you have a brand where you're in a niche and all your products are complementary and they work together, that would be a great opportunity to run a carousel, right? If you've got I'm going to use the bonsai plant. You got the bonsai plant, and you've got the dirt, and you've got the pot, and you've got the...
Is alcohol smuggling devices?
Yeah, there you go. You told me about all. I know about all. Yeah, so all those things are related, right? They're for the same customer. The same customer may be interested in all those things. That's a great opportunity to run a carousel ad of all those different products, right? If when you run a single image ad, as we just talked about, you're really only going to be showcasing one product. But the reality is most of us have a ton of products, right? Especially these Amazon guys with your hundreds of products. It's crazy. But you're probably going to have other products that are similar. Don't go run a carousel ad and put a bunch of random stuff together that you sell. And they need to be related. They need to be complementary. When we're talking about t-shirts and apparel specifically, we're usually building a niche brand, and so we want to put 5, 10 designs in a carousel. And the idea of the carousel is to see what works. Inside Facebook and Instagram or Facebook Ads Manager, when you run a carousel, you can go in and look and see which cards people are clicking on the most. You can see that, slide number 3 with the Yahweh design on it or something, the Grace design. Oh, that one's getting a lot of everybody's clicking on that one. They don't even care about the other ones, right? So this is a great way to test the viability of products, is to put 10 of them in a carousel, run it for 3 days, and see what people respond to. So a lot of times, the issue we have when we're starting out with Facebook and Instagram ads, like we just have no idea what's going to work, right? So stick them in a carousel and see what stands out, and then take your winners, or the ones that are getting more engagement or clicks or whatever, and put those in a single image ad, right? Turn those into a different type of ad. Yes?
Kerry, do you ever put the same product in a carousel ad? So let's say it's a t-shirt, but you put a man, a woman, an older man, an older woman. If you're into pickleball, right? Pickleball's got younger and older audience in there. Do you ever do that, the same t-shirt design or the same bonsai product with just different people using it to see what kind of hits?
Yeah, you could. I mean, I think the best way to use it would be different products, but you can do that, and I think it's a good way to, again, test creative specifically. The problem with that is where I wouldn't do it is if you're trying to find a winning product. So you're trying to find which product is the winner. That's not really going to help you because you only got one product there or one design. But I would use that as like a more of a next level strategy of like, if you have a product or design, you're like, this is the one, I want to run ads, I know it's a winner, then you could use that and you could do different angles of the product, different shots of it, different backgrounds, or different people, as you mentioned. So that is a good idea. I just wouldn't do that in the beginning.
Okay. You would not do that?
I would not do specifically what he mentioned. I would do a carousel as a beginner. It's a really effective strategy. And I believe I have a slide where I'll talk about that at the end, just kind of like what to do first. What do you do first? So again, I actually have it right here. Often recommended for your first types of ads, just as I was mentioning. So yes, I definitely recommend a carousel as, maybe the first type of ad you run. If you're in that phase where you're like, I heard some people in here during the Amazon portion talking about like, man, I'm trying to figure out what product to actually sell and what's going to run. You probably can't do this with Amazon, but I have at times actually built like fake brands and run ads to those fake brands just to see if it would sell. And then when I make a sale, I get my first sale in the door, I just go refund the order, right? And just say, hey, sorry, we had an issue, refund the order. Then all that does is give me proof that I can sell that product with Facebook ads, right? So, you might have different opinions about that. I'm not conning anybody out of money. I'm literally refunding their money. It's just so I can prove the concept, right? Go run an ad. It's not a fake product. It's a product I may sell in the future. But go run an ad to a product, get that sale, refund the order, and then you all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I made a sale. That gives you that confidence to keep going. That shows you that there is proof that you could sell it with Facebook and Instagram ads, right? Don't know that would work with Amazon because I don't know that you want to start refunding orders with Amazon. But I don't know much about Amazon, but that is something you can do. So generally, these do not get huge engagement. This is just a kind of a disclaimer. I would really say this about all types of Facebook and Instagram ads. I would never pay much attention to the engagement, especially on a carousel ad. Carousel ads hardly ever get a bunch of likes, comments, and shares. That doesn't mean they're not successful, right? We're concerned with sales. So I can't tell you how many times I've had carousel ads where I look and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm selling so much from this carousel ad, it's crushing it. And I go and it's like, it's got 2 comments and 5 likes. It doesn't matter. The engagement does not matter. Don't put any stock in the engagement, whether you've got high engagement, low engagement. You're concerned with sales. Are you making sales? That's the most important thing. And a lot of times, again, you'll be running ads and you'll be getting tons of sales, but you may not have any engagement. Don't worry about it. Sales are number one. Sales are what you want to pay attention to. All right, a few examples of carousel ads. So in the middle here, display an assortment of your products. This is great if you have a number of products that are designed for the exact same person or the exact same niche. Can be a great way to find winners or standout designs. Kind of talk through that, so I'll keep going. Another one here is from Home Field Apparel. Again, they've got some different designs there. It's on the same background, so it looks really cohesive. Their ad copy stinks. It just says shop fan favorites from designs from Home Field. But this is what a carousel ad looks like. The next type of ad we're going pretty fast, but we're almost to the break point. We can take. Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Do you want to wait? Or do you want to
That's
take
fine. I'll
now?
wait.
Almost to the point where we can break and take some questions here. So I got 2 more types of ads. These will go a little bit quicker. Product demo, unboxing. This is going to be like a video type ad. So it's a video of someone using your product or opening it. And you can get very creative with this. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, and I'll show you a few different examples. These often do get more engagement. Video ads, oftentimes you'll see a little bit more engagement. If you put any stock in that, I don't really. Everyone should try these. They're often overlooked. So these are so easy to make. Like, these are so easy to make. Order your product, okay? Literally, this is the strategy. Order your product. Give your phone to your son or daughter or cousin or brother or whoever and say, film me opening this, or film them opening it. Open it up and pull it out of the box and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then run it as an ad. Like, it's 15 seconds. You don't have to do anything crazy. Like, it's super simple type of ad. Everyone should at least test one of these and try it. If you can get 4 of your cousins to also open it and do the same thing and all say a different line, and they all look a little bit different, like, do it. Like, get creative with it. So, but there is some cool stuff you can do with these. So this is a brand called All About Vibe. Now, this type of ad right here, which unfortunately the links do not work anymore because this presentation is, some of these links are a couple months old. So I can't show you the exact ad. But this one kind of combines with, it's product demo unboxing, but it combines it with the testimonial. Because what this is videos of their customers opening their product, and it gets their reaction. So this is you can order a pillow shaped like your dog. So you order a pillow and you upload your dog's image, and you get it and it's shaped like your dog. Okay, so what you can see on the right here is these are all ads that they are running. It's all videos of their customers unboxing the dog pillow, doggy-shaped pillow, and it's just getting their reaction. And these are so incredibly effective, like just incredible. Because they have their customer opening it, and then every single time you get the reaction, right? The customer goes, oh my gosh, it's my dog, I can't believe this. And they freak out. And so these are like super duper effective. So especially if you have a product for this category of ad, if you have a product that gets a reaction, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is a great thing to run and will definitely get results. So that's pretty cool. Okay, this is another one from Wondery brand. Now this one here, much simpler and easier to duplicate. This is an ad they ran. Now, first of all, I want you to notice that it's tall, right? So this can be run as a reel, can be run as in stories, that kind of thing. But literally, all this ad is Wondery is a brand that does like national parks type stuff, printed merchandise. They do like coolers, and they do T-shirts and hoodies. They do water bottles and different things, and they print like national parks stuff on it. So what this is literally a video of somebody holding it. There's no face, like nothing. It's just their hand, and they're just going like, oh my gosh, I love this water bottle. Look, it's got all the parks on it. Oh, look, it's 32 ounces. Look, it's got a straw that pops out. Like, it's the dumbest ad. Like, it's not dumb. It's very effective, but it's just like, it's so simple, right? We try to overcomplicate it. So, very effective ad from a really successful brand. This one I love too. I love all these because they're just like, they're so simple. I love simple stuff. This is called Life Unplugged. So this is a couple things I want you to notice about this one. So first of all, the actual ad is a video, and all that they're doing is taking like 5 of their hoodies, and the camera's up here, pointing down at the table, and they're just going and laying one down, and then laying the next one down, and laying the next one down, right? And so you see the stack of hoodies over there? That's the whole ad. Took them a total of 28 seconds to create. Just go doo, doo, and lay them down and just film it, right? Super successful, tons of sales. But what I want you to notice, these are 3 ads they're running, 3 other ads. What I want you to notice is, going back to one of our tips from earlier, they just started doing the same thing, right? They saw that this ad was working, so they created another one doing the same thing. Then they did it as an image ad. Instead of throwing it on the table, they just made a stack of them and then took a picture of it, right? And there's the original ad. So they started just doing the same thing in different ways, changing it up. They're formatting it different, doing it from a different angle, maybe trying a little bit of a different variation, right? Maybe instead of laying them down on the table, you like drop one and then there's one behind it, drop another one, or like just different ways to do it.
What's the name of the brand?
This brand is Life Unplugged. And this last one,
They're
again,
in trouble now.
what's that?
They are in trouble now. This brand is in trouble now.
Oh, it is?
I'm
No,
joking.
he said that the brand will be in trouble after I know that.
Oh, nice. I like that. This one's from Takeout Order. I just thought this was an interesting ad. The video, again, I wish I could show it to you, but the video says, "Your shirts are weird, Mom," and it's like for younger people. And again, it's an unboxing video, so they throw the package on the table. It's quick cuts. Then they unbox it, and like I think this one they show like it's something kind of controversial, and they show it to their mom. Their mom's like, "No, you can't have that." Like they just got a reaction. And so young kids want it because the mom was like, "You can't have it." So yeah. But super easy idea, simple idea. Okay, moving on to the last type of the 4 best types of ads, testimonial ad. So powerful ads to build trust and close the sale. Now specifically, I want you to remember that testimonial ads are not generally ads you want to be the first ad that people see. Sometimes they can be. Now let me kind of be clear here. Remember earlier when we had the doggy pillow shaped ads? If you've got a product like that that's like super novel and gets a reaction, like that's probably an ad you want people to be the first ad they see. But this type of testimonial ad that I'm talking about is really good for people who have maybe already seen an ad from your brand and they're kind of on the fence, or they're interested, they just haven't bought yet, and you want to close the sale. Presenting a testimonial in front of them as another ad, that second ad they see, that will help you close the sale because they'll see the social proof. They'll see that your product is selling, right? And that could get them to come back and make the purchase. So powerful ads that build trust with people. They show that the product is legit. It's not spam. Other people are buying it, right? It's going to be a picture or video. Often used in retargeting. That's kind of what I just mentioned. I won't go too deep into retargeting. But if you don't know what retargeting is, you all know what retargeting is. But what it is if you've ever gone to your Facebook feed or Instagram feed, you're scrolling through there, and you see a product that you just checked out, that's retargeting, right? You're like, wait, how did that get in my feed? That's because they retargeted you based off of either one of two things. Either you went directly to that brand's website, or like, I was looking at this sign, and then all of a sudden that sign shows up in my feed. So I was at the website. That's number one. Or number two, you were looking at a similar brand that sells similar stuff, and the Facebook algorithm went, well, if they're interested in that, they're probably interested in that, and they showed it to you. That's basically what retargeting is. So this is another one of our Shirt School students called I Heart Fitness, and this is a testimonial ad. I think this is actually an older ad that they had. But again, this is their ideal customer. It's a women-focused brand. She's wearing their t-shirt. What I like about, and then you see in the ad copy, they actually put, it might not even be her testimonial, by the way. It's just a testimonial in the ad copy. And what I like about this one is it's a really low quality image, right? Like this was literally taken on her phone in poor lighting in the closet. And yeah, it works. It works because if you look like that girl and you see that and you go to the gym, like you're gonna buy, you know what I mean? And people do relate to images and videos that are made on your iPhone that look like they're made from a phone. Like that's relatable. So it's a great example. This is a more done up example, right? This is a brand called Wild Tribute, and this one is one where this review is not that guy's review. Come on, like that guy did not leave this review, right? So yeah, that's true. His name is not Ahmed. Yeah. So this is an example of where they just got a really cool mock-up, really great looking mock-up, and they just overlaid one of their testimonials on it. So it's a great strategy. Like the testimonial you're using does not have to be the testimonial in the product, in the picture or video. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
You like the logo in the top left?
What's that?
You like the logo there in the top left?
I don't mind the logo, but I think it's kind of unnecessary because your brand's already there at the top, so yeah. It takes up real estate that I would probably want the attention to stay on the design and the testimonial. But I don't think it makes a huge difference either way. So anyways, your testimonial does not have to match, doesn't have to be that specific person's testimonial. You want to showcase your best testimonial that you have, or one of the best ones, right? That talks about the benefits. We talked about this earlier. Talks about how fast your shipping is, or where your products are made, or how they're eco-friendly, or if you're doing apparel, like it's the sizing, right? It's how it fits, how it's going to fit them really well, how this cotton is Egyptian cotton that's super soft, right? Like a pillow, like whatever. So you want that testimonial to focus on one of those core things, right? Shipping, where it's manufactured, eco-friendly, fit, those kind of things. Now, if you had a different type of product, right? We talk about like kitchen gadgets or something like that, right? There's a ton of benefits I'm sure you could communicate about a gadget type product, or maybe something you would sell on Amazon, or what differentiates your product. So you want the testimonial that you showcase to really communicate your benefits. Here's another one. This is that same brand, All About Vibe. Similar thing here, but this one I showcase because they actually have a testimonial in the ad copy. Again, the testimonial is from Robin. It's probably not that chick right there, but this is a way that you can set up your ad for testimonial. I did want to point this out. Notice that they're leading with the 5 yellow stars, right? That's a big thing, putting those stars in there, showing it's a 5-star review. All right, so that's kind of the breaking point. Next on the agenda, so we've covered that first one. Next, we're going to talk about campaign setup tips. Then we're going to move into targeting and budgeting. Where am I at on time? 30 minutes?
Thanks. Yeah, you're good. Where it mostly falls is like at 3:30.
Yeah.
Just
I went a little bit. That went longer than I thought, but
well,
let's.
Good idea is at 3:30. Maybe anybody that needs to go at 3:30, you can leave at 3:30, and if you go a little over, I don't think anyone's complaining, right?
Cool. What's up?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Number one, for your headline, is it more important to put there that you have a sale going on or the urgency? Which one would be most powerful for the headline?
So my first thought would be try to put both, because if you have a sale going on, that sale is ending. Communicate that you have a sale and it's about to end. All sales are about to end, right? Like they're ending at some point. So put that they're ending. So my first thought would be try to get both in there. You might say 50% off sale ends Monday, like something like that, right? In the headline. But as far as if it were one or the other, I would probably communicate the sale versus the urgency. Yeah.
Sale over urgency, if you had to pick.
Yeah, if I had to pick.
And my second question was, so you told us that a testimonial is probably better for middle of the funnel, maybe bottom of the funnel, but considering that you usually have 1 to 2 seconds before somebody scrolls away, doesn't the single image convert a lot better for top of funnel than the carousel or the third option, which was product opening, unboxing? Wouldn't you just want to stay with just plain image for top of funnel and then use the other ones for middle?
Yeah, so you talked about testimonial. So I do think single image would be top of funnel, either single image or a video ad like the unboxing.
So you would consider unboxing top of funnel?
Yeah. I mean, if you have a product that's really gonna wow people, like the pillow, it depends on the product. But I usually always recommend that brands test first with either a single image or a carousel, the very first ads that they run, which would be top of funnel, but that's more like if you're testing products. If you have a proven product, I would do single image or the product unboxing. I think either one of those could be great top of funnel.
Yeah, carousel sounds to me more like discovery. You're trying to find out which one is the one that you really want to run through the product for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, again, carousels can be good, as you have more winning products, they can still be effective for sure.
Yeah, but a bunch of winners.
Yeah.
You just load them all up in
there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I would figure that engagement is super important for ads. Like an ad that you see has a lot of shares, that's something that you go like, oh, let me look into it more. So something that does not get engagement is not something that I would consider would be a top performer. Maybe not.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Yeah, I mean, I've had one of the things that I haven't talked about yet, but one of the things that determines how much engagement you're going to get is what the goal of the campaign is. So when you go into Facebook Ads Manager, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tell Facebook what you want, and so you're going to have a bunch of things there like I want leads, I want likes, I want sales, I want add to carts, I want whatever the case may be. If you tell it, I want engagement, it's going to give you tons of engagement, but not sales. And then vice versa. If you tell it, I want sales, it's going to give you sales, it's not going to give you engagement, generally. So as a general, kind of a general rule. Sometimes, and then some ads, you know, another strategy that's out there, I don't necessarily subscribe to the strategy. I don't think it makes much difference. Another strategy is to run an ad for engagement, try to build up all the engagement, get thousands of likes, then turn that into a sales-focused ad so that it has the engagement.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. I've tried both, and I don't know that it makes much difference. Like I haven't seen like very practical difference.
A question from the stream. Mauricio wants to know, can you show the best ads for a service or to promote a subscription channel? I guess, now it came in earlier, so I didn't ask. I'm assuming you already did that. I don't know if there was anything you wanted to add to that.
So I was mainly focused on physical products, not services. Services, generally you're going to have longer ad copy. A lot of times with services, you know, you're going to have, like what I've seen with services is it's longer ad copy. You're probably going to have customers that will read a little bit more into it. It's probably going to be a higher priced product. So there's going to be more like justification of the service there, more things to communicate, right? When we're selling like a cheap-ish or inexpensive physical product, like, you know, there's just like it's more of an impulse buy under, let's say $100, $70, $80. So services are going to be, you're gonna have a longer funnel, you're gonna have a little bit more in-depth ads. Video ads work great a lot, and you're probably gonna want to collect like a application or, you know, some kind of opt-in, as opposed, or, you know, a free quote, things like that, as opposed to purchase. So I have to think on that a little bit more, but that's a good question.
Eva wants to know, is it recommended to have subtitles in the ads or in the video?
So Facebook will put the subtitles automatically. It will, you know, you can basically, when you're creating the ad, you upload the video, you can tell it, just create me subtitles. And so it will do it automatically. Those aren't always perfect. You can edit them in the ad if you want to just edit some of the words. I would say yes. There is a statistic out there, I'm going to struggle to remember it, but it's like a high percentage of people watch the videos while on mute, which makes sense, right? Like I lay in bed and there's a million things that come across my feed. I don't want my wife to hear, not do anything weird. I'm not trying to bother her while she's sleeping, right? I'm reading these ads. So the subtitles are very important. That was a really bad example to use. This could be any. You could be right here. That guy's watching video ads on his phone right now. No. He needs a subtitle.
Making notes.
Just kidding. He needs a subtitle. So yeah, I would say have the subtitles on. You can have them created from Facebook, but you're not going to have control over how they look creatively. They're just going to be like the black standard subtitles. So if you want more control over that, do your own subtitles, but I would recommend, to save time, make it easy, use the Facebook subtitles, but I would definitely turn them on. Who asked that question today?
Yeah, sure.
Subtitles, bro.
Subtitles, silence. Based on your experience, where's the conversion better? If you send a link to the ad, for example, to your own website, to an Etsy store, to Amazon, is there any difference?
Always going to be your own website. It's always going to be the highest conversion.
Always to your own website.
Yeah, that's, well, let me rephrase that. The highest conversion right now, which is something we're not even going to touch the surface of in this presentation, the highest conversion right now is Instagram and Facebook Shops. So what that is, you guys have seen on Instagram or Facebook, there's a photo there, and it's got like a little tag of the product, and you can actually buy it right there without going to the website. That's going to have the highest conversion, and it's really simple to understand why. It's because, like, people don't have to leave the platform. Like, they can literally buy it within a few seconds. They don't have to wait for a web page to load. If you have a slow loading web page or whatever, they don't have.
Amazon just did an integration with them to where now you can be able to purchase
That's awesome.
your Amazon products without leaving the platform.
That's awesome.
Yeah. When it comes to print on demand, what's high conversion?
Do what?
When it comes to print on demand, what's high conversion?
Like a print on demand brand?
Yeah, sure.
For your store, I would say anything over like 2 to 3% is going to be, I mean, I've seen some of my students, which I would say if you're running a high amount of paid traffic, so you're spending thousands of dollars per day on paid traffic, Facebook and Instagram ads, you're going to be closer to 2%, maybe even a little bit lower. Like right now, the average has dropped a little bit over the last couple of years, but on Shopify, the average is around 1.5% conversion on the average Shopify store. Wow. So if you're running a lot of paid traffic, it's going to be lower by nature. It's going to be probably closer to the 2% or lower mark. But like I have a student that is routinely getting like 5-6% conversion rates, but most of that's coming from organic content, not paid ads. So it can vary a little bit, but I would say 2-3% would be really, really good as far as conversion. Did I miss? I feel like I missed one. Skipped one.
I have a quick question.
Let me,
Go ahead.
on Facebook ads solely for Facebook Marketplace, can the ads be created for off-sites? I think you might have.
Yeah, as I was mentioning just a minute ago, I actually didn't finish my thought on that question. So Facebook and Instagram shops are going to get the highest conversion because you don't have to leave the platform. But second would be your website versus, I didn't answer. That was your question, right? Was that your question? Did you answer that? Why didn't you did? When you guys were up here, yeah. Your own website's going to be the highest converting page because you have full control over it, right? If you send them to an Etsy which Etsy has some rules around that, but if you send them to an Amazon listing, right? They're probably going to see 100 other products, and it's like you don't have control over that. You send them to whatever. If you send them to your own website, first of all, they're only going to be able to buy your products. So if they click on another product, it's still your product, right? Plus, you have full control over all the conversion. What color is the button, and what is the headline, and what is the title, and what is the price, and what does the mock-ups look like, the reviews that you show. You have full control over that. So you're generally always going to have the highest conversion on your own website. So anyways, hopefully I'm answering that question as well. I've never run a marketplace ad. Mainly I'm only teaching on your own website for the most part.
Yeah, the last one from the stream is best time to run your ad, trial and error, how long to run the ad. That sounds like that's coming in the second part.
That's coming, yeah, I've got that in there.
Okay,
yep.
Stefano? My question was about what could make a really good product for this type of advertising. I've always heard that you need to be over a certain price point. For example, I sell products definitely under $30. So I've always kind of been hesitant to say, all right, let me invest the time and resources that it takes to kind of like open up this paid media channel. But I don't know what your experience is, or you think that may work. Yeah.
Couple ideas for you. I would tend to agree for the most part. If it's under like $25-30 as your core product, it's going to be harder to make it profitable with Facebook ads. And the reason is, as your product becomes more expensive, it's not proportionate to the amount you would pay to get a sale on Facebook or Instagram. I know that kind of is confusing, but let me give you an example. So if you sell a t-shirt, it's priced at $30, let's say. The average price to get a sale on Facebook and Instagram ads is going to be around $12 or $13. So you're going to pay $12, let's say, to make a $30 sale on that t-shirt. Now, if you double that price to $60, your cost to make a sale doesn't go to 24. It probably goes to like 14 or 15, right? If you go to a $100 product, the price to make a sale doesn't go to $35, $40. It probably goes up to 20, maybe. So as your product is priced more, your cost to get a sale actually probably becomes more profitable. Now, so two things I would tell you is, so in the case of like t-shirts and apparel and type things, the big money is going to be made in selling to people more than once, so getting them to become repeat buyers. There's statistics out there like repeat buyers spend on average 3 times more than first-time buyers. So if they're buying one t-shirt the first time, on average when they come back, they're buying 3 the next time. And you don't have to market to them again, right? They're on your email list, text message, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be where the big money is made, not in acquiring the first sale. Second thing would be, you always want to have a strategy for upsells in there. So never try to sell one t-shirt at a time, or one adapter at a time, or one kitchen gadget at a time. You always should be either bundling or upselling to additional accessories and different things. And that will increase your average cart value, and that will bring you more profit. The other thing is I would recommend if you have a really low price product, let's say it's like even under 15 bucks. I know this is somewhat of an older strategy, but it still works like hotcakes. Free plus shipping is a great strategy, and then just basically just upsell additional products to increase the cart value. But if on ads, I did a strategy years ago with t-shirts, doing a free t-shirt where you just pay the shipping. And it wasn't profitable, but I was upselling so much that there was a ton of profit pulled out of it because people are getting the free t-shirt and then getting all these other things in upsells or bundling together. So I would try that on a really low price product, running your ads as, hey, we'll give you this for free, just pay shipping, and then making sure you have upsells on the back end. But anyways, it's a long answer, but your top of funnel ads don't always have to be profitable. It really just depends on how much are you upselling and are you collecting emails in order to create repeat buyers.
And on that quick follow-up question, you get the customers' information when they buy through Facebook or Instagram shop?
Yes.
You do?
Well, let me be clear. With Shopify, you do, because if you have a Shopify store set up with a Facebook or Instagram shop, that when somebody creates an order on Facebook or Instagram, it's actually going to populate in your Shopify store. So you'll get all the information that you would normally get from a sale on your website. They just created it on Facebook or Instagram.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there another way to set that up? You're saying like there's another way to set it up without the Shopify store?
Yeah, I mean you can literally just set up a shop on Facebook or Instagram with no additional software. Okay. You're not going to be able to do things like print on demand or drop shipping or whatever or Amazon. I mean, unless there may already be a third-party app for that. There may be a Order Desk or ShipStation or something like that might integrate. I'm not sure, but you can just like let's say I was just like a stay-at-home mom and I'm creating like cool necklaces for daughters. I can just create a store and then just fulfill it through my Instagram account. Ship it all there and everything. Kind of like a little mini e-commerce site.
Sorry,
you're good. No, you're good.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to what you were saying about carousel and testimonials, and I'm going to shift a little bit and ask you, for instance, if you're trying to, say you're launching a product that solves an issue, problem, skincare, hair care, whatever, and they have to use that product, wouldn't you lead with a testimonial ad instead of a carousel because of the type of product that it is?
I probably wouldn't lead with the testimonial. I'd lead with the product demo or like an unboxing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a ton of great ads out there for that type of stuff specifically. So if you had a hair care product that when they use it, it gives them a result. Always before and after, some kind of before and after, or how to use the product and showing how it, showing the effect it has. That's going to be like really, really effective. Just having a girl there and how to use it, or how what kind of results she got. Like, yeah, and again, that can play into testimonial. Yeah, it can be a type of testimonial, but it doesn't have to be, right? It could be just an unboxing and just showing how the product works and that kind of thing. So the big difference there is like one of them most of the time is like an actor or it's hired. You're creating a video, but the other one is more of an organic like testimonial. Like they're like, I just love this product. So it's different, a little bit different.
Let's go on to the second.
Sorry, Major.
No. You had a question too?
No, I'm good.
Tom, you had one?
Can you walk me through something that you would use, something that's under $15? Walk me through that kind of process that you're using Facebook ads really to generate leads or an email list. So if you're going to give somebody away something for free, they just pay for the shipping. What would you do in terms of creating that email list and email flow? How would that look? Just a quick little, maybe.
Yeah, I think if it's going to be a free plus shipping, you generally don't want, if it is a free plus shipping, you generally don't want anything in the way of that getting that free sale. That would be the first thing. So you wouldn't want like a pop-up or like anything in the way. Like your primary way of, actually the free plus shipping strategy is a great way to build the email list in itself. Like you're getting people to pay you to give you their email list or to give you their email, you know what I mean? Like they're paying for a free product and they're giving you your email. That's a great way just to build your email in general. You might be losing $1 or $2 on the actual front end product, but that's your cost of getting those emails. But if the best way that I've collected emails is through that pop-up on the website. I don't know that that's the best strategy on an under $15 product. But that is, like on an e-commerce store, that's going to be the best strategy, is a pop-up that comes up 10 seconds after they hit the website, offers them some kind of value. Now, one thing you could try is, because with a $15 product, you probably can't discount it anymore, so you're not going to want to offer like a discount in that pop-up. Hopefully you guys tracking me. You've ever been to a website, you load it up, there's a pop-up that comes up, it's like, give me your email and I'll give you 10% off. You don't want to discount it. So if it is niche-focused, a niche-focused product, and you can provide them some kind of digital value via that pop-up, that could be really effective.
Right.
So you're selling a doggy-shaped pillow for $15, and they come to your website, and it pops up and says, hey, do you want our 10 tips for having the healthiest dog, keeping your dog healthy, like enter your email? Everybody that lands there has got a dog, so they're going to want those 10 tips, right? So giving them something digital could be really good.
Okay.
Cool. All right, let's keep going because I got 7 minutes to get through this next hour of content. Okay, I'm gonna fly through this. Let's just do it.
The most important part too.
So this is actually the really deep stuff. So let me keep your attention here. Pay close attention. Here we go. All right, campaign setup tips. We're gonna fly through this. All right, so this is kind of the setup. So you're gonna run all your ads from Facebook Ads Manager. What you're looking at here is you're looking at how Facebook Ads Manager flows. You have a campaign tab, you have an ad set tab, and you have an ad tab. Your campaign tab is your high level, like this is what I want the campaign to do. I want it to get sales, or I want it to get, engagement, yada yada. The ad set level, that second level, that's where you actually target you build your audience or target the people. So that's where in there you say, I want to target people who own a German Shepherd, or I want to target people who have an anniversary coming up, or I want to target people who love America, or sewing or something, right? That's where you do all the targeting. That's where you find your customers. You can set the age group here. You can set the gender. You can set the location. Facebook ads, like by far the best platform for like targeting, a specific customer. No other platform compares. TikTok is like not even close yet. Maybe they'll get there, but their targeting is so broad. It's crazy compared to Facebook, and it's literally just because they have almost 20 years of data on people. They know everything about you, so you can target like everything. But you do that at the ad set level. Then lastly is your ads. The ad level is where you create the photo or video. You type in what you want the ad copy to say. That's where you create what customers are going to see, is that ad level. This illustration here shows you that you're going to have one campaign, and inside that campaign, you can have as many ad sets or audiences as you want. So inside a campaign, I could have 10 different audiences if I wanted to, right? That's going to be your ad sets. And then inside each ad set, I could have as many ads as I want to. So if I create an audience of dog lovers, then inside that ad set, I could have 10 ads for dog lovers, right? So it's kind of like a Christmas tree, gets bigger at the bottom, right? There's more stuff down at the bottom. So let me keep going. Campaign objective. The first thing you're going to do when you set up your ad, you're going to hit the little green button that says create an ad, right? And the first thing you're going to do is set up your campaign objective. I would 99 times out of 100, you're going to click sales. I know that the top one is highlighted there, but you're going to click sales. You don't want to use any of these other things. Awareness, that means you're telling Facebook that I just want people to see my ad. We don't care about them seeing our ad. We want them to buy stuff, right? So we don't want any of this other stuff. We don't want traffic. We don't want people going to, we just want sales. We want it to find the people who are the highest likelihood to make a purchase. Think about the thousands of data points that Facebook has on every single person. They know if you are higher likelihood to buy a certain product, and that's why we click sales, because we want to use that data to our advantage for them to find us buyers, people that actually spend money, right? So sales. I do want to give a quick disclaimer here on this photo. Facebook Ads Manager likes to make screens look really different for different people for some reason. I have no idea why, but your screen may not look exactly like this. I've seen it a few different ways, but the principle is the same. It may be set up a little bit different. You might get little pop-ups. Click on sales. Sales is what you want to go with. Okay, this is the conversion event. This is where you actually you say, I want them to be directed to my website or to an app or a website. You see all the different options there. We're always going to select website. That's always what we're going to select. The only exception to that would be if we wanted to send them to an Instagram or Facebook shop, which is where they'll stay on the platform. But again, 99 times out of 100, we're going to want to send them to our website. I was informed earlier that Amazon encourages you to run ads. So if you can send them to your Amazon page, like you can do that there, but you're still going to select website. Below that, you see pixel and conversion event. The pixel is a little piece of code that goes on your website that tracks everything and sends the data back to Facebook. We don't have time to get into pixels today, but you always want to have your pixel set up. If you have a Shopify store, go to the App Store, search for Facebook and Instagram. There's an app, and it'll like set all this up for you, and it makes it very, very easy to install your pixel. So you don't have to know how to like put codes on pages or anything. And then lastly is the conversion event. And the conversion event is basically what action do you want the customer to take on your store? Do you want them to buy, which is purchase? Do you want them to add an item to the cart? Maybe. Do you want them to, there's a bunch of different options there. 99 times out of 100, you're going to click purchase. Just keep it simple. We want sales, right? Okay. Create as many audiences as you want. Meta will charge you the daily budget for each audience. Example, if you have 3 audiences at $10 per day, that's $30 per day. I generally create 1 full ad set and ads, then duplicate it and change the targeting. So I wanted to put this up here on this slide because a lot of people get confused on how the budget, like how the money is spent. Okay, so for every ad set that you have, every audience that you have inside of a campaign, you're going to get charged your daily budget per audience. So if I create those 10 audiences I was talking about earlier, dogs, and I got sewing, and I got all these different things, I'm going to get charged whatever budget I set for each of those audiences, okay? You don't get charged per ad. That's a question I get asked all the time. It's like, every time I create a new ad, am I getting charged that budget again? No, it's only for each audience, which is at the ad set level. Now, a little bit more advanced is Advantage Plus. That's another option in there. That is actually has to do with campaign budget optimization. I'm saying all these words, we have no idea what I'm talking about. But that's where it actually sets the budget at the campaign level, not the audience level, which means you set one budget for the campaign, and you're gonna let Facebook spread it out however it wants. That's a little bit different. So 2 types of ways that you can set your budget. At ad set level, like we're showing here, or at the campaign level, those are a little bit different. For most people here, if you're a beginner, you've never run Facebook or Instagram ads, you want to set your budget at the ad set level. Don't worry about Advantage Plus or campaign budget optimization, just ignore that. Facebook is going to try to get you to use all that stuff because they always want you to use the newest, coolest thing, even if it doesn't work great for you. This works better, especially when you're starting. So ad set level budgeting. Limit your ad creatives to 3 per ad set. Testing any more than this with a low budget will mean that you need more time to spend enough money on each ad to determine its success or failure. So as I said earlier, under each audience, you can have as many images or video ads as you want, which we talked about in the first part of today's training, right? But I would recommend limiting that to 3 per audience in a campaign. Now you could create another campaign if you wanted to, try more and whatever, you could do that. But inside an audience, I would limit it to 3 per audience.
Why?
The reason is because let's just say that I set a budget of $10 per day for my audience, and I have 10 ads underneath that audience. Facebook's going to try to spend money on each of those to figure out which one is the best. And what I find a lot is anytime you have more than 3 ads, Facebook will make a decision too soon on what the best ad is, and it won't give it enough try to the other ads that could have been successful. So you'll go in there with 10 ads at $10 per day, and you'll be like, it only spent 25 cents on this one ad. That's not enough for it to know whether it's good or not. Like, that could be a good ad, but Facebook said, nah, we showed it to 2 people, and nobody clicked on it, so it's a bad ad. It's like, come on, it's 2 people. They might have been mad in a bad mood that day, like whatever. So if you limit it to 3, you'll be able to spend enough money on each of those ads to actually determine whether they're good or not.
these ads are probably the same product, maybe a different background, different
Yeah,
text, just ad-
exactly,
testing,
exactly,
same
yep, same product, yep. Just to further clarify on that, the exception would be if you're spending a lot of money, you might make more ads underneath that ad set. So if I'm spending like $1,000 a day, I'm spending plenty of money for Facebook to optimize those ads a little bit better. So I might put 5, 7, 10 ads under that ad set if I'm spending a lot of money on that audience, right? So that would be a situation. But if you're starting low budget and you're testing products, limit it to 3 per ad set.
Is $10 a decent budget to start?
Yeah, it's good. It's decent to start, and I would recommend starting at around $10 per day per audience, because it is one of the easiest things to do is waste money on Facebook and Instagram ads. Like, it's so easy to just burn cash on Facebook and Instagram ads, and I see people do it so often where it's like they come back and they're like, I spent $800 over the last week and I got no sales, and I'm like, why did you spend $800? Like, you should have spent $10 a day, and when it didn't work, let's look at the data and then make a new plan. Don't just let them run for a week and just burn money, right? Like, so if we start low at $10 a day, that will give us enough data to then make an educated decision on, is this ad good or bad? Let's go scale it, or let's create a new campaign based off what we learned, right? So for instance, let me give you one quick example. You might go in there to create your audience and you're like, I have no idea who's going to buy this product. I'm just going to leave it wide open, 18 to 65, male and female, the whole United States. And the only caveat I'm going to give it is that they really like dogs. That's, we're advertising the dog pill or something. You run those ads and then you go in there. After 3 days, you spent $30, and maybe you see that, oh my gosh, women aged 35 to 44 are the only people clicking on this ad. I didn't have any sales over those 3 days, but again, we're in the testing phase. But I saw that women 35 to 44 are just clicking on this thing like crazy. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you that now you want to run a new campaign, narrow it into 35 to 44 females. You would even be able to maybe see, like, why is it only females in Texas clicking on this? I didn't even expect that. The Texas females 35 to 44. So now we can take the data based off that $10 per day. Then we can make a better decision, and maybe at that point, we might want to ramp it up a little bit more. I don't know why I keep looking at you, but was that your question? You might want to ramp it up a little bit more, because now you have a more educated decision on who your customer might be. Does that make sense? But $10 a day is enough to get enough data.
$10 a day for 3 days?
That's my baseline for testing anything, new products, new things. Like, until you have a proven audience and you really get a good feel for what products are going to speak to that audience. Now, completely honest, like, if you had your business for a while and you got products that, like, and you've run ads before and you've had successful ads, like, you're going to have audiences, maybe 1, 2, 3 different audiences who's like, every time I send them a new product, they buy it. I know exactly what they like. Then it's like, all right, maybe I start at $100 a day because I know it's going to sell. Like, I've done 4 other products that are all related that have sold. Like, they're going to eat this up. So you just build confidence as you really learn that audience.
But I guess that's even the case if you were to go 18 to 65, all of the United States, men, women, $10 a day for 3 days. That's enough to be able to.
In most cases, yeah. In most cases, it's enough to be able to look at it and figure out why the ad didn't work. And there's lots of different metrics we can look at, and this is something we do in the Six Figure Founder coaching program. Is we do weekly reviews of ad campaigns, and I'll actually go in and review them. And usually we're able to look at it, and there's a number of different metrics we look at in the Facebook Ads Manager, where we can see, like, oh, Facebook showed your ad to a lot of people. It shows that you've got a really low CPM, which is cost per milli. Means how much does it cost us to show it to 1,000 people? Facebook's really showing your ad. What does that mean? That means that Facebook, Meta, determined this is a really good ad because we're showing it to people, right? They're not going to show it to people unless it's good content. So if they're showing it to a lot of people, but for some reason your cost per click was like $5 a click, nobody's clicking on the ad. What's going on, right? Or maybe we say you didn't have any add to carts, but you had high clicks, right? So we can look at the data and we can say, like, okay, it showed it to a lot of people, so the ad was good, but for some reason people aren't clicking. That means that maybe it's like an audience mismatch. like they're like the ad, they're like, oh, cool ad, but they're not clicking on it. So maybe we got the wrong audience, right? But maybe in a different example, we have a ton of clicks, but we don't have any sales. It's like, oh, people are clicking on it because they want it, but something's wrong on your website that's preventing people from buying. So now we can go edit the website, we can optimize the website. So there's a bunch of different metrics we can look at to determine, like, is it the ad, is it the audience, is it the website, and then we can optimize from there. So in most cases, you can see that within the 3 days, $30. Make sense?
That's awesome.
Yeah. If you know what to look for sure.
Right.
Okay. Hey, we got through that one. All right, targeting. Let's go to targeting. We're out of time. Carlos, just tell me when I need to stop, man.
No, you're good. Anybody that needed to leave at 3:30 or that had plans, feel free to head out. Anybody else want us to stop?
We're pretty close. We're not too much more.
Keep going. Everybody's loving it.
Okay, targeting. So this is where we actually build the audience. Lastly, we're going into budgeting, but targeting. So targeting is done at the ad set level. That's that second level. We talked about that, the ad set level. This is kind of what it looks like, right? And you can see here, you can target people down to literally like their zip code or neighborhood. If there's like a zip code here in Miami that you wanted to target, like you could just send it to people that live in that area, or you could send it to people who live out of state and are just traveling to that area. I mean, there's like a ton of options here that you can do. States, countries, zip codes, neighborhoods. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. This is a little bit more about what you'll see in the targeting section. What I said here, you narrow in the age. There's no reason to not narrow in your age unless you genuinely just don't know who your customer is. So there's, if you don't know who your customer is, leave it wide open. But in most cases, I would recommend narrowing in the age. Like if you've got a product that's for people under 50, why would you target 65-year-olds? You know what I mean? Just go ahead and narrow it under, to 50. So usually I always narrow in the age. Same with gender. If you're specifically tailored to men or women, narrow it down. If it's a women-focused product, there's no reason to leave men in there. You're only going to waste your money. I know you guys are super intelligent, so I know this isn't you, but you'd be shocked how often I see this. It's just like, why would you not just click women? Like, this is a women product. You know what I mean? It's super simple things like that.
What makes a product a women product? 70% 70% purchase are from women, 30% from men, 90-10. Like, what makes it a women product?
That could be the case if you have existing sales data, but more I'm talking about like the product that you talked about. That's probably, I would assume, a female-focused product. So it's like, maybe not. I don't know the specifics of it, but yeah. But if you're advertising a product that you know is for females, is more what I'm talking about. Right. But yeah, I mean, if you look at your product data and it's overwhelmingly female, 70-30, yeah, I would definitely run most of my ads only to females, just because you're going to get a lower cost per sale.
He said to run the product for females if you got 70-30, but if you get, I don't know, special occasions like Valentine's Day, you may want to run it for guys too, because a lot of guys buy gifts for girls.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. That would be something to test. Generally, I have not found huge success with that strategy. What he's talking about there is like, it's a product for dudes, and you advertise to the wife and to, hey, buy this for your husband. The times where that would be a great idea is like Father's Day, right? Or like those kind of times. But generally, if it's not like a holiday like that, maybe Christmas, Father's Day, Mother's Day, I usually don't use that as a strategy. I generally find it's just really hard to target that way, to get that specific with the targeting and say, only these people who it's kind of hard to target that. Like, especially if it's husband and wife, that you can get pretty specific with that in here. Like, you have to be married and you have to be a woman, and this product is for your husband. But if they're not married, if it's dating, that kind of thing, it's a little more difficult. Well, you can do that
in the ad?
You can set up in the ad, you can set criteria that they have to be married, because it's got your relationship status, right? Unless you're lying about it, like it knows if you're married. Facebook does. So you can set like married. You can set, and then you can set the gender to female. So if they're a female and they're married, they have a husband, right? So it's like, yeah, you can set that up.
So the narrower you go, the better. The more specific you are. The more specific you are, the better.
No. I actually, in Facebook, I'll talk about this a little bit more. In that case, yes. If it's like gender or age, be specific. Be specific. But when it comes to the targeting, like actually putting in what they're interested in. Actually going with a more broad approach is actually generally a better approach, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. All right, let's keep going. Okay, what I said here is the detailed targeting. This is kind of getting into what you're talking about here. This is where it gets really interesting, so I'm going to talk to you about this really quickly. So when you're doing your detailed targeting, that means you're actually putting in all the things that this person might be interested in. And I generally like to break it down like this. And this is a little bit overwhelming here, but demographics-based, interest-based, and behavior-based. Now what this is like, this is how I would do my research, targeting research. This is something I'd recommend that you do as you're wanting to run your Facebook ads. You do research. You go out on the internet, you actually research, well, who is the customer? What are they interested in? What are the brands and different things that they're interested in? Because in Facebook, you can get really, really specific with the targeting. So we got these brands up on the wall, right? We got Getita, that, whatever they do here. Like, if that's a big brand, and I wanted to target their customers that are interested in that, like I could just go put in that brand name and say, I want to target the people who are interested in that, which can be really powerful because if you have a product, like earlier, now this is probably a terrible example, but I just remembered earlier he was talking about the Squatty Potty, and he was talking about how somebody tried to make a competitor. They could literally go in and put, I want to target people who like Squatty Potty, and they could run their Squatty Potty competitor, right? So it's not going to be available for every brand, but if it's a large brand, that's something that you could target. So getting back to this, I like to break them down like this. So demographics would be relationship status, education, salary, parents, occupation, birthday, location. Those are all things that are more demographics based. And one thing that I want to note about this is demographics are the only thing in Facebook that's almost 100% accurate. They're pretty accurate. The only thing that's not accurate in that list is salary. Salary is usually not very accurate in Facebook. But like if you think about it, again, go back to relationship status, unless you're lying, they know if you're married, single, engaged, it's complicated, right? Education, most of the time, like you're proud to put your college in there, right? So that's, usually they've got that right. Some people could be lying, but a very small percentage. If you are parents is pretty easy to know. Like if you're buying diapers, you're a parent. Like they know you're buying diapers and you're probably a parent, right? Like if you're buying whatever, any kid-focused product, you're probably a parent, but they can also go off, I mean, let's get crazy, like you're posting pictures of your kids, they know you're a parent, right? Like it's pretty sure. Your occupation, most people, that's gonna be fairly accurate. Now there's gonna be some people that say I'm a CEO and they're not a CEO or whatever, like for status, but most of the time it's gonna be pretty good. Your birthday, that's the first thing you put up when you set up your Facebook account. Hey, what's your birthday? You put it in there, like it's accurate for the most part. And then your location, obviously your phone's got GPS, like they know your location pretty well unless you've got it denied or whatever, but those things are pretty sure. So anytime you can target an audience by these demographics, you get better data. You get a lot of times better results because those demographics are pretty high percentage they're right. When it comes to interests, this is where it's like the data is not as strong. So when we target people by general interests would be like soccer and basketball and dogs and cats and like just these general subjects. But then you got news and magazines. So you might say Fox or CNN or these news outlets, companies and products they use. You might say, oh, they use Gerber products or name a brand. I don't know why I'm going baby focused, but celebrities they like, right? Like whatever celebrity. You can put in these things. Fan pages, so a lot of times there'll be big communities and fan pages on Facebook. You can target those. If they're big enough, sports teams, I put in the Miami Dolphins, the whatever, the Miami Heat, and it's like I can target the fans of that team. TV shows and movies, you might put in Friends. Like everybody who likes Friends, I want to advertise this product, right? These things are not as accurate as the demographics. So they're still useful and you should still use them in your targeting, but just know that they're not going to be quite as accurate as the demographics targeting. You can combine those together. Lastly is behaviors. Some of these are pretty accurate as well. You can target just iPhone or Android users. Now they're probably going to know whether you use an iPhone or Android, right? Like you're using the app that they created for the iPhone. They know you're using an iPhone, right? I don't remember what I put about expats in here. I don't remember why. That one I don't remember. But purchase behavior, this is another one that's super accurate. So if you bought something from a Facebook ad in the last 7 days, they know you bought something from a Facebook ad in the last 7 days. That's a higher intent, purchasing intent. So you can make an ad and you can say, I only want to show this ad to people who made a purchase from a Facebook ad in the last 7 days. That's pretty cool. That's pretty powerful. Frequent traveler, they see you're moving around a lot. They dump you into this frequent traveler bin. You can target by that. Uses Facebook payments. If they use, I don't know why you'd want to target that, but if they use the Facebook payment system, you might want to target if you're running an Instagram or Facebook shop. You could target people that are buying from Facebook and Instagram shops already. That could be useful. Lastly, I've got on here, there's more of these, but runs a Facebook page. If you wanted to target entrepreneurs, you could target everybody who runs a Facebook, who is the admin on a Facebook page. Like, there's so many creative ways to target it here. It's pretty wild. So I'm going to keep going. Yes?
One question before. So if we're going to rate the 3, we get demographics 95% accurate, interest.
It would be the lowest probably.
Okay, which is 70. We can say 70, 75.
Probably go 50-50. It's pretty low.
Okay, and behaviors?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably close to demographics. It's probably up there, 85, 90%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's keep going.
And that's the ad set level. Right?
It's at the ad set level. Yeah, this is when you're creating your audience and targeting. Okay. This is just an example of one that I did for soccer. So this is something you might want to take note of. But this is I created a Google Sheet, and I said, if I'm going to create a soccer brand, let me come up with all the things that I could possibly target via Facebook ads for soccer. So I made my categories: general, magazines, news, companies, celebrities, Facebook fan pages. Then I started just doing the research. Okay, I got FIFA, and I got women's national soccer, and then I got magazines and news. I got all these different magazines: Shoot, Soccer America, Kicker, 442, right? Then I got companies: Nike Soccer, Adidas Soccer, Puma, etc. Right? The list goes on and on. Celebrities, and then I put as like a random category. Like, you might have one for the niche that you're in, or the thing that you're targeting, that might just be like one that's only for your niche. So in this case, having soccer teams was unique to soccer, right? Like, or sports. Whereas if you're targeting based off of dogs or something, you're not gonna have sports teams for dogs. So yeah, so that's just kind of like one that's unique to this niche. But teams would be under that random category, and I just put a bunch of soccer team names that might be something that I want to target.
So you can target a customer that's following whatever soccer.
Yep.
Can you target other people's stores that are competitors to yours? So if I'm selling a bonsai, whatever product, but I want to target the customers that are part of Bonsai Empire, I can tell Facebook to target those customers?
As long as it's an option. But
No.
yeah.
So you can't directly target the customers. In some cases, you can target the fans of that Instagram or Facebook page if it's big enough. So what I found in my research, I honestly don't know the criteria that Meta has to make something targetable, but I've seen things that are targetable as low as like 80 to 100,000 followers. There are some celebrities and like fan pages that have as low as like 80 to 100,000 followers. Usually if it's under 100,000, so if you had like a brand that had an account that had 20,000 followers, like usually it's not targetable. I found in my research the threshold is somewhere around 100,000 or more where they become targetable. I don't know what the criteria is, but yeah, it's. Okay. But you wouldn't be directly targeting their customers, but you'd just be targeting like fans of their pages, basically, which has their customers in it. It's like, yeah, it's.
Would that be something that you'd really focus on then? I mean, to me, if you were doing something with soccer, I'd probably want to focus on pages that had over 100,000 viewers on soccer and just start there and see what kind of ad set that came up with, right?
Yeah, like so right here, the way that I would do this is generally you want to group like things together. I didn't really cover that. I'm glad you brought this up. Generally, you want to lump like things together. So for me, when I'm targeting, I would not be combining these in the same ad set. I would be going and targeting soccer.com, and that's the only thing I'm putting in there. And then I'd be going and targeting, David Beckham. That's the only thing I put in there, right? And then I'm testing these other ones in a different ad set.
So you wouldn't mix and match, you wouldn't add two of them or anything like that?
Generally, I would not. Now, the only time, and I'm actually going to show you here in the next slides, the only time I would combine them is maybe you would combine a general interest with a more niche down interest. So the general interests are going to be the really big ones. So like the interest of soccer, let me give you an example. right? It's humongous, right? So it's way too big to target on its own. You need to be more specific because, like, you know, this guy walking by the door, he probably likes soccer on Facebook, but does he really watch it? Does he really care? Like, nah, but he likes soccer, you know, like, so he's probably not your customer, right? You want the hardcore soccer fan. So what I would do is I would put in soccer as a general interest. It's going to be like hundreds of millions of people, but then I might put in Abby Wambach below that as a secondary interest. Now I've just narrowed down to like 5 million people from 200 million people. Now I've got some hardcore soccer fans, right?
What size audience would you always go?
Let me keep going because I've got actually a bunch of these things in the slides. So let's talk about specific targeting strategies. That's what I just got into, but so we maybe be able to blow through. So I'm going to give you, I think, 2 targeting strategies. First one is broad targeting, which means a lot of people. I would consider that as like 2 million plus. I would say 2 million to maybe like 20, 25 million, like somewhere in that range. 2 million to like 20, 25 million. Anytime it goes up to like 40, 50 million plus, I'm like, I don't like to target that way. It's just too big. But what I would consider broad or big is probably 2 million to like 20 to 25 million people. You're going to set your age, gender, and location. Remember, those are 3 things I usually always set if you have that data, right? If you know it's women or male focused, if you know the product is for a certain age demographic, just always set those. There's no reason not to. If you don't know, leave it open. So you're going to set your age, gender, location. You're going to use one central interest or demographic. So I thought soccer was still up there. But going back to soccer, right? Like some of those interests, they might have 2 million by themselves. So you're just going to use that one interest. Don't put anything else in there. Don't combine other random things. Just put your one interest. Now, in the second targeting strategy, I'll talk about stacking. There's some cases where you want to stack them together. But you're going to use like one central interest or demographic, 2 million plus. So here's a couple examples. This one, I've got location United States, age 20 to 55, both genders, and I've put in climbing or mountaineering as an option. This is going to be 41 million to 48 million people. If you don't know where that's at, it's over here on the right. See where it says 41 million to 48 million people? That's pretty large. This could be one that you could try. It could work. That's pretty large. That's kind of approaching the point where I would be like, ooh, it's a little too big. I need to add something else to bump it down a little bit. But that's going to be a very broad audience. You're just saying, hey, everybody 20 to 55 that likes to climb. That's what this is. But this is keeping it very simple. Don't try to complicate your targeting. That's one example. Here's another example. 18 to 65 plus women, and the interest is romance novels. This is going to be 18 to 21 million people. This is perfect. Now, on this one, like you can go to Google and you can say, which gender primarily reads romance novels? And it's going to tell you it's women, right? Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Yeah, like so I know this is women, so there's no reason for me to run it to men, right? So this is one where I can say, okay, this is women focused. I put in my interest, and it's 18 to 21 million. It's super simple. I didn't have to do anything crazy, just target it just like that. Okay, let's keep going. Targeting strategy number, oh, sorry, let's go. Yep.
No, let us go.
$10 a day for 3 days per ad set.
Yeah, I do have a little bit more about that here at the last section.
Can you go 2 pictures before, because I want to take a picture of that. One more? Yes, thank you.
Got it, okay. Targeting strategy number 2, this is going to be detailed targeting. We're like 2 hours in. He can make noise, man. At the beginning, you have to be quiet. So this second targeting strategy is like detailed targeting, where this is going to be like 100K to 2 million. Now, some like experts, gurus will tell you like, don't do this. They'll say, you just want to run the big audiences. In the last few years, Facebook ads has kind of changed to more favor the broad audiences for whatever reason. I think it's because the Facebook has changed a lot with the algorithm, and with the iOS 14 changes and all this different stuff. Facebook wants to be in control of everything. They want to find your audience for you. They don't want you to have to do any work. They just want you to leave it to them. In some niches, some products, like that just doesn't work. And most of the time, I want to be in control as the entrepreneur, even though Facebook's super intelligent. Like, I still think in a lot of cases we need to lead them in the right direction. And I still see, like, I'm in the trenches every day, and I still see that this strategy works. Like, it still works, and there's a lot of brands that this is better for than the broad targeting. So this is going to be when you have a smaller audience, like you're trying to target a smaller audience, 100K to 2 million, somewhere in that range. You're going to set your age, gender, and location. Remember, pretty much always going to set that if we know. This is where we can use multiple interests, demographics, or behaviors to better qualify the customer. And we can stack like interests together to get a bigger audience. So there's this magical button inside the Facebook Ads Manager that says narrow audience. Now, I want to be clear here because, again, this is something I see all the time. If you ever want to make your audience smaller and narrow it down, so we're at 18 to 21 million, and we want to get it smaller into that like 100K to 2 million mark, you always got to use the narrow audience button. Like, that's how you do it. You click that narrow audience button. I just see a lot of people that they just stack them all up right there in that first like box where it says romance novels. They just stack them all up, and they don't really make sense together. It's like, why would you target that like that? You know, always use that narrow audience button. That's the only way that you can really like narrow your audience down. And what that's going to do when you click that button is it's going to make sure that all the people in that audience, they're interested in both things you select. So if I click the narrow audience button and I add in a second thing, like let's say I do romance novels and I click narrow and I put like rom-coms, like whatever the targeting would be for that, romance movies or something. That means everybody that I'm targeting reads romance novels and likes rom-coms, both. Not one or the other, like they have to like both, and so it's going to get smaller. So here's an example. Look up here on the top right where it says audience size, estimated audience size, 490,000 to 576,000. This is 1865, all genders. They have to be interested in eagles, and then I hit the narrow button, and they also have to be interested in motorcycles, right? So this is going to be bikers and different things like that.
Versus not doing the narrow audience button, it would be either or.
No, if you didn't hit the narrow button and you put them both in, that would mean you could get anybody who likes eagles and anybody who likes motorcycles.
So either or.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. So maybe you were right there. I apologize. So yeah, you're correct. You're correct. So yeah, so it'd be either one. Like you could just have eagle lovers that don't care about motorcycles. You could have motorcycle people just don't care about eagles. That's what I see a lot. So always hit that narrow button.
Makes both.
Yes, you're correct. They have to like both.
Can you give us a scenario where this is a better targeting strategy than the broad one?
Kind of. The situation where this would be better is if you've tested. Like you have to test both really. Like there's no like one doesn't necessarily work better than the other. They both work. You kind of have to see what works for your products or niche. That's kind of the best answer I can give you because they really do both work, and I've had tons of success with either one. And that's the same thing I tell my students is like, they're like, well, which one should I use? Like, test both. Like, you just have to test both. And you might find that one works better than the other for you. They both work though. Just kind of depends. Here's another one. So this is a situation right here where you might want to stack them together without using the narrow button. And the situation where you want to do this is if you have a lot of small interests where they don't have a lot of people in them, and you're trying to get to the 100,000 or wherever you want it to be mark. The caveat here is don't stack together things that are not like as similar as possible. So right here, if you see using the soccer example, I've got Kicker and World Soccer together, and these are both sports magazines. So they're basically the same thing. They're just two different companies, right? So like another example would be if you targeted like Nike Soccer and Adidas Soccer. Like they both make soccer items. Group those together. So by grouping those together, I was able to get this audience to like 418,000 ish people. That's a really good mark. That's within my 100K to 2 million mark. And so this would be maybe something I would test. But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't put like Kicker and then also put like David Beckham in there, right? Those are two different categories. We got a celebrity and then a magazine. I don't want those together. Now, you say why? The biggest reason why you don't want those together is because when you're then looking at your data and you're trying to figure out where the sales are coming from, you're not going to know whether they're coming from David Beckham or from Kicker magazine. Like, I'm getting all these sales, like, where are they coming from, right? Like which one is it? by keeping them separate, you're going to be able to attribute your data better to which audience is working. So the problem is, I put David Beckham and Kicker together, I'm getting some sales, maybe it's not profitable. I have no way to tell whether, again, it's the Kicker Sports Magazine audience or the David Beckham audience. So now I can't make my ads more profitable because I don't know which audience is performing. So I always try to keep those separate, keep different types separate if you can.
At any point, does it make sense to stack two celebrities together?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the same category. I mean, like, celebrities are generally pretty big audiences. But I just try to stick to the rule of the same category. So, I mean, potentially you could stack them together, but...
Potentially, but not really.
Yeah, yeah. It just depends on if it's... The only time I stack them together is if the audience is really small. If it's, you know, if you put in one and it is like barely breaking 100K, you know, it's maybe 80K, like, then you want to probably put something else on top of it to get it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, there was a question earlier, and I don't know if it's relevant to what's going on now, but earlier you had said, you were talking about stacking audiences. What about, like, what sort of CDR, what's that cost per click are you looking for there? Earlier on you mentioned $12 cost per acquisition.
That's on apparel, yeah.
How does that play in here? How would it work outside of it?
Yeah, there are lots of different metrics you can look at. The ones that I like to look at pretty much any type of product you're running. So your most important thing is always your cost per sale or cost per acquisition. How much are you paying to get a sale? The easiest metric is, like, is it profitable? If it's $1 profitable, why would you turn it off? Like, keep letting it give you customers, right? Because those customers are going to be very valuable as you get your second, third, fourth, fifth sale from them. So if it's profitable, as a rule of thumb, like, I keep it on, right? So determine your cost per acquisition by, is it profitable? The secondary metrics I would look at, that I like to look at most importantly, are secondary would be probably cost per click, CPC, link clicks, not CPC all. So cost per click link, it'll say CPC link clicks. That's the one I like to look at. And I like my link clicks to be $1 or less. So $1 or under per click is generally going to be where you want to be. And then I also look at CPM. CPM is cost per milli. That's how much does it cost you to show your ad to 1,000 people. And I mean, if you just think about it, if that cost is really, really high, like if you're paying like $50 to show your ad to 1,000 people, there's no way to make that profitable. Like, you need everybody clicking on your ad just to get to your conversion numbers, and it's like, it just doesn't make sense. So that CPM number, you generally want to be like, it depends on the niche. The niches are very, very different when it comes to this and types of businesses, but like $10 or less, somewhere in that range. But again, considering, like, as an example, let's say you're selling a $1,000 product. Well, you don't need as many people, you know, to buy to be profitable. So you may be able to run ads profitably with a $30 CPM. So it's hard to give a metric on that specifically, but I would say physical products under, let's say, $75, $100, you probably want your CPM to be like under $10 to $15, somewhere in that range or less.
I mean, it's very hard to get clicks under $1.50 both Google and Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You find that getting clicks under $1 in Facebook is doable?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and I've thought about changing that, like, I've thought about, should I tell people a different number over the years? Because I've been teaching Facebook ads for 4.5 years. Because a lot of people say, like, oh, it's, you know, costs go up, all that kind of thing. And we still have so many students getting under $1. It's like, I'd still keep it at $1. I would still keep that target at $1. I mean, if you're at $1.05, $1.15, like, and it's profitable, again, the number one thing is sales, right? You could have $5 cost per click and you're still profitable on your cost per acquisition. Yeah, let it run, you know. But I think $1 is still attainable. Yeah, for sure.
Kerry, you mentioned you can also select Facebook ads that someone's clicked on and bought from in the last 7 days. When do you ever incorporate that into your actual audience?
So
and you find that actually makes a difference when you compare those people that have actually bought on Facebook before?
I've had a really mixed bag of results on that. Like, it does work in some cases. But the problem with it is usually we just talked about CPM, cost to show your ad to people. It goes through the roof when you add that on because you're telling Facebook, I want your highest intent buyers, and the auction that, to get that ad space is just much more expensive. And so, Can
you vary this 7 days to 30 days, 45
No.
days?
No.
It's only 7 days, that's the only option?
I believe it's 7 days. Actually, I don't think it actually shows you that. I don't know where I got that number, but I think it is 7 days from my knowledge. But when you go in there, it just says purchase behavior. Actually, I think if you hover over the little eye or something, it'll say purchase within the last 7 days.
Christmas time, you're going to get more people that have probably clicked on something over
Yeah.
Christmas time, so that's going to
Yeah.
be a metric that's not going to be very reliable
Yeah.
from January, February.
Yeah, again, it's just something to test. I can't think of a specific situation where like you would add it or not add it, but it's definitely something to test. Like let's say you've got maybe you've got an ad that's performing well, but is just on the cusp of being profitable. Maybe you spin up another campaign, add that in, and see if that makes the difference. If that was kind of that tipping point. Now I would say like around Christmas, like right now, if you're gonna go run ads right now, heck no, do not use that. I would not use it because the reason is because ad costs are already really high around the holidays because more people are advertising, higher intent to buy. So by adding that on, like it just throw your CPM insane. Yeah. So, all right, keep targeting simple. That's the big idea here is like don't try to do too much. I see this every single day. People do their targeting and they're just adding in like 10 things and they're trying to get super creative and just start. Especially when you're starting, start as simple as possible. Just if you need to leave your age and gender open, leave it open and just put in dogs. Like the most simple thing you can think of, and test that first.
And it's better to have more simple access.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Last thing on budgeting, I got one slide, I believe. Lower the budget, the longer you need to test. So if you do have a low budget, you need to test a little bit longer, right? So we say $10 a day for 3 days. I think that's a good window. But if you're like, I only have $5 a day, right? You need to go a little bit longer to be able to get the data, right? It can only spend if you can only spend $5 a day, you're gonna have to test a little bit longer. So I know that's probably not most of the people in the room, but lower the budget, longer you need to test. Generally, you need to spend 3x your CPA target. CPA is cost per acquisition. So what I would do if I was in your scenario, if you have a product already, first thing to do is look at what is your profit margin. What is your profit margin? So if you have a $50 product and you have a $25 margin, let's just say, then you need to test ads with 3x your CPA target. Your CPA target would be $25 because you have a $25 profit margin. I would just start with that. Of course, you want it to be more profitable in the future, but if you're starting, you say I have a $25 profit margin, then I'm going to go for a $25 per sale goal. So I need to spend $75 on an audience before I have deemed it no good or good. So that's kind of just like a rule of thumb is 3x your cost per acquisition target to test with. So yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. You need to spend 3x your CPA target to know whether an audience is good or not. You really can't make a decision before that. Yeah.
I've never heard that rule of thumb like that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to like shoot it down with different scenarios, and I really can't. That's pretty good.
Yeah. $10 a day for 72 hours. That's just kind of in most cases, but I would lean towards the 3x your CPA target in this case. I think the $10 per day for 72 hours is probably a little more apparel focused, I would say.
Sorry, that was getting me to reel a little bit. So that is your cost. That's your cost to acquire a customer for that sale, or are you factoring in the break even?
You're talking about the 3x your CPA target or the $10 per day for 72 hours?
So on that sale, I could make $25 profit times 3 not. I've calculated that based on that customer will buy it from me and I'll make $500 on the life of that customer.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. 3x your CPA target would be the profit margin on that specific product, not lifetime value. Okay. That makes sense?
3 days versus 5 hours.
Yes. Yes. It takes Meta, like especially if you have no audience. If you do not, the longer you are running ads and finding audiences, like the quicker you'll get results. but it takes 3 days when you're first starting, especially if you have a fresh pixel, a fresh ad account. It takes 72 hours for Facebook to really it's just throwing your ad out in front of different people, trying to figure out will they respond, and it's really trying to narrow into who is the person that's going to buy and click on your ad. And so it takes that 72 hours. And
So you want to spread it over 6 days no matter what? You don't want to put it all on day one?
no, yeah, you want $10 per day, yeah.
So why not go in a week to make your results really accurate?
You can, yeah. I mean, you definitely can. It's just we're talking about people in all different scenarios. How much budget do you want to spend? You know what I mean? Actually, I think I have it in here. Don't spend more than you can afford to lose. Don't spend more than you can afford to lose. So if you say, like, I've got this product and I'm willing to lose $500 and I don't care. I will not hurt if I lose this $500 or $1,000 or whatever. Like, yeah, let it run a little bit longer. Like, you'll get better data. You'll train your pixel more. Your pixel will get a little better at what it's doing. Who it's trying to find over 7 days. That's a good idea. For most people, to minimize just wasting money, $10 per day or 72 hours, excuse me, is a good time frame to get enough data.
It's all that money divided by however many ad sets you have.
No, $10 per ad set or 72 hours per ad set.
Right, no, but the $500.
Yeah. $500.
I'm willing to lose $500.
Yeah.
I would need to divide that $500 divided by how many ad sets I have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're right. But I was more saying, like, if you so let's say that you have a new product and you're like, I got $500. I'd like to test 3 audiences. Then calculate that out. Okay, if I do $10 a day and I run them for 7 days, that's $70. So if I do 3 audiences, I'm at whatever that is, like $200 around there. So yeah.
I'm gonna add to that because I think it's a question that's not understood correctly. In my experience, within 3 days, you will know if the ad is or the product is good. If you're hoping for data and information in 7 days, I think you're blowing money.
I agree.
So I think that what people don't realize.
He's got it like that though. He doesn't mind for it.
What people don't realize, and everybody falls into this, and you can maybe vouch for that, but when you start, you're in the hope stage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know the ad looks good. The product is excellent. I'm hoping for that sale. I'm gonna wait for that sale to come, and it will never come, and you blew 7 days worth of money.
I think the way, I think I see your point, but I think the way I look at it, in this one or in launching this product or whatever in general, I like to get accurate data. So
you're gonna get accurate data in 3 days.
What I mean by that is 3 days is amazing, right? You're gonna get the data, but I need to get more data because if I spend on a 7 day
sample size,
I'd love to know if you agree with this, but what I would do in that, if you want to get more data, I would just spend more over the 3 days as opposed to spending over 7 days. The only reason I say that is because, like, as entrepreneurs, we want speed to a viable product. Like, I want to get the data as quickly as possible as opposed to waiting. Yeah, waiting longer.
you get the 7 days and do it on 1 day of ad.
That's where I wouldn't.
Maybe by lunch.
That's where I wouldn't. I would.
3 days. In Tom's life, in Tom's speed, that's a lot. 3 years. Well, Tom already wrote Ramon's note down. It's not 1 day, not by lunch.
I think this is the last slide I got. Where I would start: test 3 different audiences at $10 per day, or 3 extra CPA target if you have maybe a little bit higher price product. Put 3 of the same ad creatives in those ad sets. So 3 different audiences, $10 per day, or 3 extra CPA target. 3 ads underneath that, okay, underneath each ad set. Try a carousel ad if you have no data on best-selling designs or products. So if you just got a bunch of products, they're all related, same niche, you're like, I don't know which one's good, I don't know what people care about. Put them in a carousel to see which carousel or which item is clicked on more, is purchased more, all those kind of things. Run them for 72 hours. So again, you had 3 audiences, $10 a day, for 72 hours, that's $90 you're going to test with. Now at the end of that 3 days, you're going to have spent $90, but you're going to have You're gonna have data on 3 different audiences and a bunch of different ad creatives to know which ones are good and which bad. Cut underperforming ads and scale profitable ads. So after the end of that 3 days, everything that's not, not working, cut it off. Everything that seems to be working, scale it or make adjustments based off of that.
So you leave an ad set with 1 ad?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, after 3 days, I'm going to go in there to the 3 ads that I have underneath that ad set. I'm going to look at all the data. And Carlos asked a good question. This is a whole nother class, but analyzing the data, right? The number one thing you're going to look at is your cost per sale. Is it profitable? If you have if you have an ad that's profitable, like, keep that one running. Second thing you're going to look at is for me, I'm going to look at probably cost per click, and then thirdly, I'm going to look at CPM. Those are just the ones that I like to look at. There's a bunch of other metrics in there. I would say this: if an ad is not profitable, I would just turn it off. Like, you can keep it that simple, because there's really no reason to keep running an ad. Like, as you mentioned, it's not going to get better after 3 days. If it's not profitable, it's not going to get profitable for the most part. There are maybe a few exceptions where I've seen it get back into profitability, but it might just be because one customer came and spent $500 on a random big order, and it's like, oh, it's profitable. But is it really? It's just one customer. You know what I mean? Like, so I would not continue to run ads hoping that they will turn into profitable ads. So I talked about those secondary metrics like link clicks and CPM. Like, if it's not profitable, don't keep running it. So I would lean towards, if you don't have any sales after 3 days, you want to look at the data and then make a better campaign for your next test, right? Use the data to then make a better campaign. I think you had a question next, right? I don't want to skip over you.
Yeah, I just want to quickly share a little bit of my story, because I think it's fascinating what you just, everything, your presentation.
Thank you.
Was. Because in my case, it's not sales, it was a service that I offer. And just to cut a long story short, I was online. I was in the manufacturing business. And I'm online, and I see that in Korea, they are training people to do what I do here in the States for $25,000 for the training.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, and when I looked on their page, it was people that was flying to Korea from the U.S. And I'm like, how can I get these customers? And I knew nothing about I knew nothing. I was such a layman. And I went on Facebook, I went in, I just did the target audience, the demographics. I clicked Africa, Germany, all over the world. I did the target age. And I had a video. My ad was a video of myself. I didn't show my face, just my machine. And what's on the machine? And I had a caption. Thank you. I had a caption that said, again, the training career was $25,000. And I thought, okay. So I came up with this caption that said, good training doesn't cost, it pays. And that's all you see. I'm doing the trade, and I have that caption just running. And oh my God. I did the ad for $10 for 5 days. And it turned my company from a national company to a global company. That's all I spent.
Wow.
And then pretty soon after that, I had to figure out, okay, I got a call from Africa, I got a call from Germany, I got a call from Amsterdam. And I'm blown away by this now. Just 5 days of just running a Facebook ad. And, huh?
I mean, pretty close. $10 a day for 5 days.
And yeah, so you talk about the a return on investment. For me, it was just one of those things. I was just testing it. I was just seeing if it worked, and it blew me away. And it just changed my entire business, everything about what I do. And I had to quickly, literally overnight, learn how to facilitate all this new interest. And I had to come up with a curriculum. I had to run back on that Korean site and see how they do what they did in order to accommodate all these international trainees. And shoot, I shaved $5,000 off that cost, and boom, I started to train people from all over the world to do what they were doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so just do it.
Thank you for sharing. A question from the stream. The slides I'll get from you, and I'll be able to show the slides. But is there an app for analytics the same as Helium 10? So Helium 10 is an analytic tool in the Amazon space. But are there any analytic tools that you're using for Facebook ads?
No, not definitely not on the. at this stage. All the analytics are pretty much going to be inside Facebook Ads Manager. I mean, they're going to be inside there. There are the biggest thing there is there's attribution tools. They're very expensive for the most part.
Like Triple Whale
Like
and
Triple Whale and Hyros. Like for most people, you're not going to want to. Like you're probably not going to want to mess with that until you're probably in the seven figure plus range.
Okay.
Specific to print on demand, do you consider LTV at all, or you just keep it one sale, cost of acquisition?
No, I'm completely the opposite. I'm all LTV and very not focused on the cost. I mean, I do focus on the cost of the first sale, but it's upsells and then selling to them again.
On that one sale, but then you're letting your profitability be based on what you see on LTV rather than
Yes.
Let me ask you something for that, just because you were on the podcast. So how much of that changed from when you first started? Like when you first started, were you all like, I don't care about profit per sale right now, I care about the LTV? Or
So I don't think I understood that as much, but I was really fortunate when I first started. I didn't get to tell you guys about how I got started or my story or anything, but I was very fortunate when I first started, like ran my first ad. So I built my first brand on the back of Facebook ads, like no organic at all. No social media, nothing like that. And all I knew how to do was run I didn't really know how to run Facebook ads, but I had a mentor that was very into Facebook ads. And this mentor was like the email marketing and ads guy. So like he was all about email marketing. And so I think from day one, like I was collecting emails. I didn't know what to do with them, but at least I was collecting emails and then running ads. And I was getting emails without really knowing like where that was going to go. And then as I started, the email list started to grow a little bit bigger, 100, 200 people, 1,000 people. It's like, oh, I need to start emailing these people. And then I quickly discovered as I started emailing them, that was a very, very powerful tool, especially for getting repeat buyers and getting people that maybe didn't buy the first time, but now they're on my email list, now getting them to come back and buy. And so not really knowing what I was doing, I kind of figured it out pretty early, only because I had a mentor that was kind of already into it. And really glad I did it, because it's been a core piece of the business. So.
Can you go over CPA 3 times your CPA one more time? So if I'm selling a shirt for $30 and it costs me on Gelato $12.
Mm-hmm. So you've got you've got $18. Yeah.
Is that where you come up with your $90 for the most part for your t-shirt stuff?
Yeah, for t-shirt stuff, I generally just go with the $10 per day. It's just easy to understand. And again, the average CPA on t-shirts and apparel, mainly t-shirts, I guess, is about $12 on Facebook ads is what the data says. So $10 a day for 3 days is good, but you could set it at that, 18 per day, so whatever that maths out to for 3 days. But yeah, that's how I would calculate it.
So 18 times 30 divided by 3 days, so $18 per day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you mentioned emails. Question. I mean, I love this brand shirt, brand style t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I like them. They email probably too much. How do you balance, or what are your thoughts on how often you get somebody that's bought your apparel brand? How often do you email them? What's the borderline too much versus not enough? I guess.
Never too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on your brand. It depends on how you want to position yourself. I think for most people I work with, they can't even fathom sending an email every day. I mean, it's just like way too much. How do I come up with the content? What do I put? For some people like you're probably like, I could have somebody do it. Like they can figure it out. I kind of go back and forth. I tend to fall somewhere around 2 to 3 emails per week, with usually like. If you're going to do 2 emails per week, it's like one's more content focused, one's more sales focused. That's going to ramp up when you have sale times like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, any kind of sale, or right now around Christmas time.
He said it's about too much what they send him, but he doesn't unsubscribe because he's a fan.
There you go.
So the fan will never unsubscribe no matter how much time you send.
Yeah.
You're waiting for the new drop, right?
It's all about staying top of mind. So the more you email, the more you're going to stay top of that inbox, right? So like, I tend to maybe lean a little bit more towards you can't really email too much. I mean, maybe multiple times a day is too much. I mean, once per day though, especially around heavy season. Now, what you're going to see is you're going to see your open rates are going to plummet, right? If Grunt Style is looking at their email rates, I would venture to say they're somewhat low. Doesn't matter as much because you're emailing more frequently. So it's just kind of that trade-off. It's like, if I email 2 times per week, I might be able to maintain 35% open rates. Whereas if I'm emailing 7 times a week, it might drop to 18% open rates. But again, I'm staying top of mind. Those people that don't open, they're still seeing my headline at the top of their inbox, right? I'm still staying up there.
If your gross sales goes up by 10%.
Yeah.
Because of that sales channel.
There you go. So yeah, you might see your sales jump 10, 20%. You're emailing once per day, but your open rates drop. And again, just like we said, go back to Facebook ads. Who cares, right? Who cares about the open rates if my sales are growing? So it's, yeah. But like I would say 2 to 3 times a week is a good sweet spot. You're still going to stay pretty top of mind, but I don't see any.
That's to see what increases that.
Yeah, I would say my best advice would be I never care about unsubscribes. I mean, unless you're seeing like abnormal just spike, and it's like, ooh, what did I say in that email that got people riled up to unsubscribe? Then you might want to look at it. But for the most part, I don't care about unsubscribes. Like that's why the button is there. Like if you don't like the emails and you want to unsubscribe, you're probably not my ideal customer anyway. So I'm just making my list better.
Sure.
I'm just making my list more. You know.
And you're not paying for that email in your.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, no, let's do this so that we can bring it. Everyone that's here is going to continue to stay here and be able to ask questions.
Yeah.
And we'll keep the networking going. But thank you so much for the presentation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign off on the stream because we got the questions answered over here.
Thank you, stream. Everybody on the stream, we love you.
We love you.
Can I go?
By the way,
I raised it up a little bit. Somebody put out 68.
it was 69. I don't know who used 69. If you guys like that or love that, tomorrow we have a full day, slightly different topic, but
What are you talking about tomorrow?
you got to be here. You got to be here to know. That's it.
Well, I see I'm going to be here.
Great stuff, though. Great stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This was a warm up.
Yeah, this is good.
And,
Are you going to talk about ads again, though?
yeah, there's a little, well, this is what's tricky is I cut it down to, tomorrow there's like it's slated for 15 minutes at the end of the day, and I only have the first part of this presentation. It's basically a replay of the first part of this presentation. I don't know, we may or may not do it.